Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. We're here today in Davis, California at Sudwerk Brewing. With us today, we got some owners. We got Trent Yaczan.
Right here. Thanks for coming.
And Ryan Fry.
Yep. Pleasure to have you here, Ben.
And then our special guest today, it's Bex Nava.
Hey, it's me.
Thanks so much for doing this. We're here today kind of to talk about one major thing in everybody's lives, which is Sudwerk's 30th anniversary coming up in October.
Is it pronounced Sudwerk?
Sudwerk.
That's the hybrid. We say Sudwerk. It's the happy medium.
Yeah.
But really, it's Sudwerk.
Wow.
Yeah, so we can't go around saying that all the time because people get confused or get angry at us.
Yeah.
So it's a German word.
It's a German word for southern factory, or a slang term for like community brewery. So over in Germany, they had 30 years ago, before the craft beer explosion here, there was a lot of Sudwerks, or local breweries. So Sudwerk was 30 years ahead of the current trend.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's sick.
For sure.
Oh. You're going to chew gum through this whole podcast?
I want to go, man. What are you talking about?
But yeah, 30 years. So it's we're the most established brewery in Sacramento. Yeah.
Most established.
I don't like to say oldest. But we are. We're the oldest brewery in Sacramento.
Most established. This is your most established discount?
But yeah, so no, oldest brewery in Sac now.
Nice.
Yeah, most history.
In Sac?
In Sacramento region. Yes.
Not Davis?
And yes,
And Davis?
including
Davis by default.
Davis by default.
Oh,
Well, I guess not anymore. You guys have a few other breweries.
There's 4 breweries now in Davis, but 3 years ago we were the only one. So, and 10 years ago in Sac there was 8 breweries,
And now there's 87 or some
Oh my God.
god-awful
continuing
number.
to grow. Yeah, it used to be Sacramento used to be called the boneyard of breweries, the graveyard, but now it's the
Boneyard.
opposite. It's like all these breweries came to life, and it's it's an exciting time to be in the beer scene in Sac. If you're a customer, for sure. If you're a customer,
Is it exciting to be there as an owner?
it's exciting, and as far as riding a roller coaster, just as long as there's not too many valleys,
Yeah.
and we're as long
Keeps it exciting to wake up every day.
Yeah,
There's
it
always
keeps you
something
fired up.
new going on, and it gives us a platform, playground to have a lot of good time in. So
Is it as fun on the way down, or is it not really that much fun? It's more
close
like
your eyes.
that slow climb up is like the most exciting part for you. You're like, I love roller coasters. The way up is what I like about roller coasters. That slow climb.
Yeah.
The descent to madness, not so much a big fan.
Right, just try and ride that plateau. Just even keel. That's
Yeah.
the goal.
Do you guys have any of those roller coasters just are flat?
That's why there's so many bikes in Davis. It's the flattest city around.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
we got 2 hills, 2 overpasses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the highest hill in Davis, the overpass next door to Sudwerk.
The man-made hill.
Yeah.
God.
You're
Okay.
right. I hadn't really observed it, but you're absolutely right. It's a very flat city.
Bike capital of the USA, Davis.
Yeah.
You've already tried your beer?
Okay, let's try
Oh,
this
yeah,
beer.
sorry. Yeah.
So we're trying this beer
Mine was-
together.
I had less than people because I got the last.
Oh,
I got the
okay.
dregs of the can. So we're actually here to drink a beer. Well, we're here for the 30th anniversary, but right now we're going to drink a beer that, when we're recording it, doesn't exist in the world. When this comes out, brand new.
Correct. First taste. First taste on air.
Pre-release.
Pre-release.
Canned hours ago, so
Yeah.
doesn't get
Can't
fresher.
get fresher off the line.
Haven't had it before.
I was
Nope.
waiting
And
in
Ryan
line
and
all
I
day.
waited to taste
Oh,
this with you
This
today.
is very melony.
So this is it's called Bombus, which is Latin for buzz.
Oh,
And so we're having an event tomorrow with UC Davis Arboretum that focuses on native bees, specifically the native bees that helped in our hop garden over the past year. And so we have estate hops, malted wheat grown in Yolo County, and try it first year. And a hazy lager. You're not going to find many hazy lagers.
No, you're not going to find many hazel lagers at all.
I love lager. That's my favorite
do?
kind of beer. Yeah.
Awesome.
We love hearing that.
Yeah. That's what we're going for. That's like it's kind of become our mission is transforming people's perception of the lager. And I think it's the best response we can get is when people will try it and they say, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know lagers could taste like that."
It's good. I don't like things that are too hoppy, but this is like fresh.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
lager. This is good.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, some light sweetness to it, which is pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, a little
You said Melanie.
Yeah,
Melanie.
yeah,
Yeah.
very much. But like to be fair, my I've been doing a lot of tasting lately, and it turns out I pick up melon like more than anybody on Earth does.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everything it tastes like melon. Like, there's no melon here. I'm like, bullshit. That's all I'm getting. So I had to stop judging IPAs. I'm like, they're just melony. They're just melony. Everything is. I can't taste anything but if there's anything that even resembles it, it's all I get.
Like honeydew melon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all
Or
I
a
get.
green
woman
melon.
melony.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like this beer just reminds me of my ex Melanie. I hate this beer.
It tastes like melony.
Yeah, right. You can't get over melon.
I'm cutting it. No. You can't say that on whatever this is, podcasts. You can't say it tastes like Melanie. That's insane. But yeah, that's a really cool thing that you guys are doing. Like, bees are kind of in the news all the
Oh
time.
yeah, saw an article yesterday about bees. Speaking
I saw
of
one
bees,
today.
I didn't know bees
Bees-
were so popular.
bees are the
Oh, yeah.
most important species.
Propagator.
Let me read the article. No, the headline. Let me read the headline.
Yeah, this is very important.
Yeah.
But they're endangered right now, and they help bring life to all the fields around us. So it's tough that they're going down. It makes it hard to keep farming and keep growing. The bounty for California and the rest of the country, and outside that. So yeah.
I thought that was old news, though.
It's still
Still
happening.
happening.
though.
It's still
Yeah, it's so
they haven't
important.
solved
You
the
gotta
problem.
keep it alive.
Yeah.
Keep, like,
That's why I'm
okay.
making a beer to help get the word out more.
Okay, here's the
that's
article. It's from
smart.
Physics and
Big
Astronomy
pollinators.
Zone.
Okay, astronomy, nice.
Physics and Astronomy Zone. The bee is declared the most important living being on the planet.
Being
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so hey, just in time for this release too.
Yeah, cheers to the bees.
We got to keep
Yeah.
reminding people how
Honestly.
important bees are.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, bombus meaning buzz. Like
Buzz, Latin for
bees
buzz.
are want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you see that representation there on the label of Mother Earth.
oh,
with the
that's awesome.
Catching the bombus there.
Oh my god, this is sick.
Yeah, we just hired so this is the current one of the perspectives we see in the craft market. How do
Your brand.
how do you compete right now, right?
And your marketing.
It's so competitive. So many 16-ounce cans on the shelf.
Yep.
The mobile canning phenomenon allowed all these breweries to release cans on a moment's notice. You got to have the art to back it up.
You do.
We have an in-house artist,
Yep, I could tell.
and we're
Yeah.
putting it. And he's a local Davis guy. Grew up here. He can draw stuff like that, like this, in a handful of hours. He's super creative, awesome guy, and this is how you compete in this market. You almost don't need the salespeople out selling it. You just got to consistently new beers with awesome labels. So
Yeah, it's very important because I think I was here 4 years ago, and there was like a kind of a rebrand of like taking back the logo and kind of moving into a new transition of what kind of beers you guys were focusing on. And then even today, it's like it's different again, but like
Yeah.
slightly different,
Right.
as opposed to the radical change of a few years ago.
for sure.
You nailed it. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time since we got involved to really help dial in the traditional and the original recipes, then building off that to really see what we can do outside the traditional lager realm and really start developing, what can be recognized as more of a regional lager style. And then we've been prototyping, piloting beers for the last handful of years. And now with this artist, we're able to really bring those to market because, people, they love beer, but they also want to understand it. And so that artwork and bring people in to really understand what we're all about and at least try the beer. And then when they taste it, then they really get to experience, what we're all about. So they go hand in hand, which is great. And we've just been lucky to be spending a lot of time piloting beers over the last handful of years. And now we can bring them out into cans and put a lot of effort into all these beers. I mean, they really start on a small system to get brewed a few times, really understand how the beer turns out with the recipe. Then we scale up to a larger system, brew it a few more times, get some feedback from the market, and then we scale up again and put it out in cans if it does well. So I mean, it goes through a lot of iterations. We really hang our hat on every one of these releases, not just for the sake of putting out beers as much as we can.
Yeah, it's incredible. I also noticed when I was bumming around outside. That's probably the wrong term to use. When I was hanging out outside, when I was hanging out outside before we did this episode, I noticed you had a can of beers called the Original Tall Boy with a giraffe on it,
Yes.
which is with the Sacramento
Cool.
Zoo,
Sacramento Zoo.
and that's
cool.
very cool.
And percentage of proceeds went back to draft conservation. So that's like back to Sudwerk
That's awesome.
community. Like that's just in our DNA. And
Yeah.
so a lot of our releases, at least one a month, is dedicated to partnering with people from UC Davis. So many great. That's our biggest asset is UC Davis. Got the brewing school on site here, but top brewing school in the world. And then if it's not them, it's UC Davis Arboretum. It's UC Davis Athletics. I mean, that's something we can taste in a little bit, but We have the only collegiate licensed beer in California.
How'd you snag
crazy.
that?
It took 10 years
Gun
of
rock?
building relationships. And
So
that's your wait, let's ask a UCD alum. What?
Yeah, that's my mascot.
There you go. Some UCD alums are like, Gun Rock, what's that? And I'm like, well, that's your mascot.
Yeah, dude.
It has
that's
a name?
crazy.
Yeah, Gun Rock.
Oh.
So it was a war horse in the 1920s that they brought over to UC Davis to like, help breed the cavalry, and it was like a big figure, like has relation to one of the famous racehorses, and it slipped my mind.
Secretariat, I think.
Yeah, Secretariat
Oh,
or
cool.
Seabiscuit or one of them. But
And that can
One that had a
was-
movie made about it.
yeah,
That was the second
it's a
one.
movie. But yeah, and 10% of proceeds go back to UC Davis athletics.
That's sick.
So yeah, this is we just came out with 16-ounce can, the stadium can. We almost went 19.2, but it's hard for smaller breweries to pull off the 19.2. The minimum orders are a lot higher, but 16-ounce, put the football schedule on there, and
Yeah,
sell it
that's
mostly in the
cool.
stadium. So
We work with a local farmer that grows rice out by the causeway, so we use the rice, and it's like a sushi rice. And
Okay, so you guys
yeah.
are using like a classic American lager style,
correct,
yep.
from DeWitt
like
Family
frat
Farms.
bro beer for frat
Yeah.
bros.
I mean, this is-
at games. All
It's
right.
definitely it's a even
Crushable.
keel.
Crushable,
I'm
Yeah.
gonna avoid that word. I'm
right?
gonna avoid that one.
Sessionable.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll go with that. It's this perfect. It's a stadium. It's a stadium drinker.
beer. Yeah,
It's
there you
really
go.
a tribute to this style, at the epitome of this style. So we worked with some UC Davis alumni that were really knowledgeable around this style, and they helped us bring it back to like when, Bud or Coors or something like that was, holding back no cost to make the best beer possible before it really started getting commercialized and going
Watered
public
down.
and water. So, I mean, we really tried to give everyone a taste of an American lager, and really it'd be hard pressed to find a beer of this nature out in the marketplace. And it's a style we always loved when we made it, and we would drink it, but like, you can't even drink this anymore because it doesn't exist. And so we brought it back, and it's like you said, it's a great style to be watching a football game, be tailgating, be hanging out, backyard, at home, whatever, so.
Yeah. And I would be remiss as a football fan to not ask this question. Is it made with an aluminum that's easier to crush on your head?
And shotgun, put your thumb through.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
shotgun
yes.
friendly, yes.
Yeah.
See
of
the
course.
outline there for the thumb has a.
I don't.
Yeah,
But-
there's a thumb outline.
Be imaginative.
Yeah.
You drink enough of them, it appears. It's one of those magic labels.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, you got thought of everything.
We talked about it, so now we got to try
Now
it.
we got to drink it. Good
Yay.
point.
Yeah, that looks like merch. Like UC Davis merch.
Yeah, it is. It almost is.
Yeah.
And it was blessed by the Pope of Foam, Charlie Bamforth.
Nice.
He blessed it, and his famous quote, "Pour with vigors" on the side. Charlie.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be a direction just for this particular beer for you.
Well, no, that too. Always pour with vigor.
Make sure you pour this with vigor. You gotta have lots of head.
All right, just dump it straight in.
Yeah, straight in there.
And have
Open
lots
that
of
bub.
head.
Yeah, you gotta have lots of head, see?
That's my life
Protects
motto.
your beer. Yeah.
I also noticed you guys put the football schedule on this. Is this right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's limited. We just ordered enough to get us through the season. It's really only sold at the stadium and at the dock. And then we do have a 12-ounce option, which is sold mostly at Nugget markets, Safeway, and Co-op
Nice.
in Davis. But yeah, Nugget for sure has been all the local retailers in Davis, solid supporters.
I like this conversation because, like, to me, celebrating 30 years in the business indicates that you've survived 30 years in the business. And it's
Yeah.
like, how do you do that? It's adapting and overcoming and, like, trying new things. And already we're only 2 beers in. We're like, here's how they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally. Like to Ryan's point, we put a lot of thought and energy, and it's a lot of partnership building. Like, we do. It's a team effort. It's a community effort. But it's, definitely right now that you could tell the market's hitting a wall. It's saturated from a distribution standpoint. There's too many options, and so that's part of why we're looking to reopen the restaurant and just constrict our focus, sell in Northern California, and really sell the majority of our beer out of our brew pub again.
Oh, okay.
So that's the ultimate kind of the 5-year plan here. Get back to our roots.
Get back to your community,
Yeah.
which is you're already doing.
Exactly.
Hitting the Arboretum, you hit
Yep.
the stadium, you hit the Sacramento Zoo.
Yep.
You stay true to your roots, and I
That's
think
it.
that's exactly where beer's going. You can't be what Sudwerk was in like 2004, putting out like Hefeweizen and Märzen to America.
Yep.
It just doesn't. It's not a practical thing anymore because nobody's drinking that
Right.
to the level they used to.
Yeah.
And they just, if it's not something that you like know the person. Now beer is so much a personal relationship with your brewer. Nobody wants to have some California brewery imputing on their Champaign, Illinois beer,
Exactly. Where they know the local brewer, where they go hang out, they know. So that gives back to their own local organizations.
And we really missed out on that opportunity, and we've opened up our tap room here and be able to bring out a lot of these piloted beers and be able to give a taste of what we're working on in the brewery. But without the restaurant, we haven't been able to provide the ultimate beer experience with our beer. And so that's what we want to do, is open up a destination brewery here for the greater region and really provide, one of the best beer experiences possible with our beer and just overall for the local community. So we want it to be a staple for, the greater Northern California region as well as the Davis community. We're both born and raised here, and we feel like, Davis is missing out on something that's really homegrown and really reflects the local community and everything that's going on here. I mean, beyond UC Davis, we're in one of the major farm regions of the area, and we have a lot of potential partners there, and we already are working with some, and we'd like to expand that. So I think there's a lot of avenues for us to really be able to support the local community and be a platform for the community here. So we're excited about the future.
Yeah, and speaking of locally focused creations, Bex, I brought you here for one particular reason. You are working on creating Davis's first comedy club.
It's interesting because I also started UC Davis's first stand-up comedy club.
Oh,
nice.
So I've been starting and producing my own comedy community since I started college. I started a stand-up club, and then I created my own improv team a year later. And then I produced my first show at Punchline in Sac.
Oh, nice. What show was it?
It was a clown burlesque show.
Okay.
Nice.
I was their intern, a marketing intern. They wanted me to do some experimental shows. And I said, I know people who do clown burlesque. And I do. And I know people who are comedians who do clownish things. Some comedians do burlesque, or some comedians juggle or do magic. Yeah. And so I brought them all together and was like, okay, but you also have to get naked for this show.
Mostly naked.
Yeah.
They're like, we're in.
Which was fun. As a comedian, it's really funny. It's not quite as embarrassing if you see it through a lens of humor to do burlesque for the first time in front of an audience.
Right.
So people were willing, and people were so creative. People did reverse stripping where they came out naked and put on clothes slowly, sexily. Isn't that cool?
Interesting. Never seen that.
Yeah. So, that was one of the best nights of my whole life. And I completely created it. I cast everyone. I helped people choreograph, stuff like that.
Davis needs more of that.
I know. I know.
And if people would keep Davis weird motto as well. It's
we're starting it.
Clown burlesque. That's pretty much as weird as you can get. I think.
Sounds like a beer can.
Yeah, we should collaborate on that one. Yeah.
Ooh,
It's like we know people think clowns are scary, but we're here to make them sexy.
that was the hard sell on that show.
You ever had a fear boner? We're gonna get you one. I'm sorry.
Now that's a beer name.
Yeah.
Fear boner. Clown burlesque fear boner.
That's a series.
I love that you guys are collaborating with your community. I've asked people, different owners, their advice, and someone a couple days ago was really hitting home the community aspect, especially before I even open my doors, just giving back, doing comedy workshops, just giving back and making it known that I want to give something to this community and not take something from it.
Right.
It's that's I would never want to do that.
For sure.
But I do as well have to prove that to my community, especially since I'm not a local. I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't know, but I feel like I've been doing that.
Totally.
So I just feel like this is the natural step for me. And Davis doesn't have a comedy club, which sucks for me, personally. I have to go to Sacramento to perform anything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Totally.
And it sucked for me as a freshman. Freshmen in UC Davis are not allowed to have cars. And it's that
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real. You cannot have a car. You cannot even buy
How's
a
that
permit.
enforceable?
What?
You can't buy a permit. You can have it, but it's
the parking permit. You can't have a
right.
permit.
And freshmen live at the dorms.
Okay. Is that required also?
So where would you park it? Yeah.
Exactly. So I would have to take the bus to Sacramento at 8 p.m. and then either leave early or run to catch the late bus and not be stranded in Sacramento for a few hours. So it was just like I already had obstacles getting me to my comedy like career, and that just like hindered me more, and I just don't want anyone else to experience that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome. You might be, you'd be fostering potential future talent.
I know.
That might not want to go through what you did, and they can grow them up right here in Davis. That's awesome.
And the club and the improv team I started, they're still running. They're still getting new people every year, and it makes me so
At
fucking
UC
happy.
Davis?
Yeah.
Nice. It's
Seeing like people who are like, oh, I want to be a comedian, and then people are like, come join, and it's just so easy for them versus being like, I want to be a comedian, but like, who will let me join their like club or group, or like going to Sacramento and being like, oh, you guys are not in college, you guys are professional comedians, pretty much. That's really intimidating, It's a lot.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, no, comedy and beer go hand in hand too. I mean, we've done some comedy shows in the brewery. We have a buddy. We see a lot of breweries do it now, but this was 5 years ago. We started doing them. We have a buddy that lives in LA. He's a comic and he does networking, and so he'd bring different batches of comics from LA on like whether they were touring, and you just like you get the right group of comedians with the right crowd. I mean, it's just like
it's magic.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's so humanizing for everyone in the room.
Yeah.
Because you're all laughing at something probably stupid, and you guys are just like forgetting the rest of your day, and you're just like there laughing at something stupid.
You're in the moment.
Yeah. It feels really good.
That's cool. You're doing that. That's exciting. When's that opening?
Oh, I'm just in transition to buy the space right now.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much fundraising
Nice.
to be able to sign the lease right now. And working on those events to just like show people I'm serious. And,
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, you got to put in that community equity. Like, you're going to give a lot before you take anything. Is like part of this stuff. Like, you got to show that you're willing to, keep the community in mind. That you're willing to show them what comedy can be, and then like, oh, maybe we do want to support a club that's open 3, 4, 5 nights a week. We'll probably come out and check out a show.
And I would love to also have it be like a daytime cafe where, as a student, I don't feel like I had a lot of spaces where I could just like hang out
Without it being too rowdy.
without being rowdy, without like it being not a space really for that. Like I would go to Nat Solas, which is an art museum.
Yep.
It's not really just like, hey, come study, or it's like a coffee shop only. Like Delta Venus is probably the model that I'm trying to go for most of
Okay.
like a variety venue where people don't have expectations of like doing a certain thing in that area, but also like there is beer if you want, there is coffee if you want, something like that,
Cool. That's exciting.
That's awesome,
We're in
yeah.
good
It's
luck
intimidating.
with that.
Yeah, let us know how we can help you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me all of your advice right now.
Oh man.
So
Keep
This
trying.
is a marathon podcast.
Yeah.
You bought sleeping bags.
I'm ready. I got nothing else
S'mores.
going on.
Yeah.
I don't got to be up till like 6 in the morning. We're good. Let's
We got full beer tanks. We'll start draining them.
we're
Yeah.
fine.
Go, man.
Yeah. I slept on concrete before, and I'll do it again.
Malt sacks are actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah, nice pillows.
yeah,
They're nice
yeah.
pillows.
Really? It feels like they'd be scratchy.
Well, depends how many beers you had.
That's true. Good point. Good point. Now, the nice part about business advice is it's often given off air. So, for some reason, I can't figure out what it is. But for some reason, people are like, maybe we don't tell them everything on the record. It's very strange.
I think we're mostly Ryan and I are too open with stuff, but to a fault, But I think that's you talk about paying it forward, and that's like almost a vision that we've developed. Is like we realize I have to pay it forward our entire time we're here.
Yeah, I mean, really.
So forward that the next generation takes advantage of what we create or help create, because we're essentially carrying the torch of what someone else created. But my grandpa helped he started the brewery in '89. Him and his partner, and they took it as far as they could. They were going to close it. We took the torch, and so now now how can we create something that someone wants to take on like we did? And like that's the succession plan. Really, it's like how do we make this so it's like a long lasting community asset for forever. How do we be like Guinness? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Be like Guinness where they sign a 9,000 year lease. That's us. I mean, we want to.
Yeah, I mean, we've been.
At that point, we just buy it and be like, it's ours. But that's
Yeah.
fine. It seems a little more cost effective. Just like,
Yeah, right.
we plan on staying here.
Yeah,
Like,
we-
even-
Go ahead.
Even even if they leave, we need more space. It's a tourism spot. You're still fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to ask about leasing v buying because buying seems like a definite we're going to make it. It's I think it's really just a jinx. We bought it, you failed.
Yeah, right.
As soon as you're we're all in. No.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure the marketing ploy was they're leasing from themselves. They probably do own it. Yeah. So that's the announcement we want to make. We're going to sign a 10,000-year lease.
Yeah.
That's how we invite you out here. You heard it first here.
One up in Guinness there under the lease. But there's something there though that we could touch on a little bit. Is just having that vision. That's something that Trent and I always had. Was this vision for the next generation? This vision for building being California's lager brewery and building a brewery for the region, for the community. And I think one thing is that we never looked to really take anything. We just want to keep giving, and just in turn it gets given back. And so I think that's one of those things that you gotta give unconditionally, is keep being involved. And every single day, we're trying to figure out how can we be more involved in the community, how we can get out there, and in return it comes back to us. So I think, you're on the right path, and I think just keep doing it. And we're excited to see what comes of it.
That's really sweet. Thank you. Do you want to weigh in on possible names?
The comedy club?
Yeah. Well, we got to ask important questions now. Is your focus mainly on the improv, since that's your background? Are you doing sketch? Are you doing stand-up? Are you doing a mix of both, or all three, I guess? What are your plans with this business? With
the space?
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, like a variety venue. I definitely don't want it to just be a comedy club. That's my main focus, as a comedian. There's
a performance space and coffee shop, hangout spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So performance space, I think, is probably a good word for it.
So if you can't just call it a comedy club, because then it might
there's
pigeonhole yourselves.
There, yeah.
So what I'm saying is
what about comedy cafe?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
What if a real simple comedy, but then you put an accent on the E, so it's comedy.
You're right. I don't want to pigeonhole myself.
Yeah, don't pigeonhole yourself.
I can't put comedy in the title at all.
Think about people want experiences. People want Instagrammable experiences.
Yep.
People want the versatility. Everyone has ADHD now, so they're going to come to your space. They never know what they're going to get, but they know it's going to be within this realm of performing. So.
Yeah, I think too, think about, is this something that's going to be just here in Davis? Or are you going to do more of these? Because when we think about when we're labeling a beer, it's all right, well, Bombas, is this, or OTB or something is somewhat local, because that supports a local, business and stuff like that. So we try to at least name it so it can go outside the local area and everyone can be approached with it, So understanding.
Exactly. You don't want to go so niche that it's only Davis Comedy Club, It's no, how do you, even, what if it's so successful that you start franchising these? And so you have a name that can fit in with any community. Mm-hmm. It's
you start this one in Davis and say you want to move somewhere else. And you're I want to start another one here. And, then you have kind of your brand dialed in. It's easier to duplicate that. If that's not an interest at all, then maybe you do something more local.
Yeah, or if you want to stay here forever and, you don't want to grow, think about how far you want to take it.
With comedy clubs, I would say, it's generally just normal kind of noun, jokies or whatever.
Oh, it's the worst one.
Stupid.
Use a Z. Get a Z in there.
Yeah. But what is distributable with comedy clubs are the types of shows. Is a lot of times there's a show where people do stand up for half an hour and then they go smoke weed and they come back.
Gateway show. Great show.
Yeah, gateway show. And they keep doing stand up. Hi.
Oh, okay.
They try to do stand-up high.
Right.
So they do one show not high and one show high?
It's the same show. They take a break in the middle.
Yeah, and so it's the same person.
The whole crowd goes on and takes a smoke break.
Yeah.
The whole crowd does? Yeah, goes on and takes a smoke break. And then,
where's this at?
It's all over the Pacific Northwest in Colorado. So it's Oregon, Washington, California, up and down. Okay. And then I think it's in Colorado. Really
but
fun
they do
show.
It at the Comedy Spot.
Yeah, in Sacramento. It's a comedy spot.
So clown burlesque would be something I could see being distributable, and that being that came from whatever.
How about funny sexy or something like that?
Funny sexy. I called it Life's a Circus.
No, that's really good. That's really good.
Now, I thought of a name, and just so you know, I love puns and wordplay, and this is the worst thing you'll hear.
I'm ready.
So just know you can absolutely say no to this, because it's the worst one. Laffy.
There you go.
Cafe.
That's pretty
Latte.
Here's the thing: if you do the L just right, it kind of looks like a C. So when people will be like, "Oh, it's a cafe." It's like, no, it's a latte.
It's a latte. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I like
That's
that
good
one.
because then you go in it, and then that's
Simply clever. I like simple
Hey,
things.
You know what? Because they say like anytime someone discovers something, they're like connecting new dots in their brain, right? And when you discover, you remember. So people come in, they think it's a cat, they think it's a cafe. All of a sudden, someone's telling jokes like, "What the?" They have this discovery experience. They never forget your spot. Oh, it's a cafe. And then you could do pranks on people too in there. People come and order coffee. And take
all your drink names are puns, like or a joke in there, like
It's like Impractical Jokers, which is like pretty terrible sometimes, but occasionally they have a funny one. You could like do pranks on people.
That would be really funny.
I don't know if that's a good way to gain customers though. Prank.
Well, no, it's like that hot dog stand in Chicago where they yell at you. They're really mean. They have like their own little gimmick. You know, so it identifies with them. So.
But there's also, it's hard to do, but nice comedy exists. It's very hard, but you can do it. I once got told my comedy was life affirming, and that was weird. I'm like,
you preaching?
Thank you.
I know.
I'm just trying not to swear. That's mostly what I'm doing.
Well, do you guys want to hear my names?
Let's hear 'em.
Okay. Well, my number one, I think, is Pookie's Place.
Pookie's, okay.
Cookies, okay.
I like that.
Pookies.
I like how it has nothing to do with like comedy or laughing, but it's a unique name. That
Pookies, you remember that?
I can see like, hey,
You
we're
wanna
going to
go to
Pookie's.
Pookie's?
Yeah.
So the other two are comedy related, Smileys and Cheekies.
I like both of them
Okay.
because they're single names.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, I
simple
think
things.
Cheekies-
Single names for a coffee place is like very
I like
important.
Cheekies better than Smileys too. Cheekies is like, once you know what it's comedy, like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to smile, but Smiley's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
But no, Cheekies and Pookies. Yeah, maybe Cheekies and Pookies.
Yeah.
Cheeky's Pookie's
Yeah.
Place.
Those are both pretty. I like them.
I
I
like
like the
those
one
names.
word. I like simple. I like
They're memorable.
I like
They're unique.
because we do the same thing with beer
They're
names. We'll
fun.
say, is this a good bar call? Like, is this past the chalkboard test? When they don't even know what it is, they never talk to the bartender to sell it to them. They see it on the board and say, I want that.
Yeah.
And
The name recognition is so important.
Yeah.
Like when I was pitching names for this podcast, I said Barley and Me out loud to a friend. We're like, that's great. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've come up with all these names that they're okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I always remember your name.
Yeah.
And make it easy to say too. I mean, you kicked off the podcast with how do you say our name, and that's something we always got to be
It's
talking
always
around.
been a challenge for us too, the name. But what we found is most people have adopted it as Sudworks. They add an S to the end.
Yeah, they added an S.
It's Sudworks, and that's why we
That's
try and
funny.
Yeah.
I say that.
We try and correct people, and we say, they almost get
It's
upset with us.
Sudwerk.
I answer the phone, Sudwerk, and people are like, what? And
Yeah.
I'd be like, Sudwerk. You'd be like, what? I'd be like,
Like,
Sudwerk. Like, oh yeah, Sudwerk. Oh, I know.
It's called
Yeah.
Sudworks.
You call it Sudwork. Anyway, like today, I called Bobby Dazzler's Pumpkins Patch, just because I want to see if they want to do an event here, get some pumpkins out here. And I just like, hey, same deal. Is this Sudwork? What? This is Sudwork. Oh, Sudworks. And they're right down the street. So everyone, I mean, that's like the people will adopt your name once once you become a part of the community and they like what you're doing, and they'll call it what they want to call it. So
Now,
Cool.
have you thought about adopting the umlaut to make people like, oh, Sudwerk? We've
thought about it, but like Meriton's another good example. Right here, we got it. sitting
I'm
here.
drinking it right now.
There you go.
I have
The
a glass.
umlaut's on the Meriton, and people still call it the Marzan.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I think another good example would be like Lagunitas, right? Which sold for $1 billion.
Lagunitas.
People call it Lagunitas, Lagunitas, Laguntas.
What?
Yeah, nobody
they
can
don't,
say it.
They don't know how to say it, and it's like, if you can build a great company around any name, really,
Yeah.
as long as it's not
If you
like
throw out
good
quality
company, yeah.
stuff, you're going to be fine.
yeah.
Like the name is secondary, but also for new people, it's like primary. But
New
once you
experience,
establish
yeah.
who you are, and you guys have 30 years of experience, your name is known. It may not be pronounced correctly, but people
Yeah, right.
recognize.
Yeah.
Right.
I recognize this font. I recognize
Yeah.
this name.
We like to say it all works.
Yeah.
You want to say it?
It all
works.
works.
Yeah. It all works.
It all verk. No
Yeah.
S.
It all works.
I mean, our biggest challenge was getting people to realize that we're actually make the beer here locally because we have a German name that all the imagery, all the branding was German, and we'd be across the street at Safeway and they'd be like, in the import section would our beer be? We're like, no, this needs to be in the local craft section.
We're
We're like,
literally making
no,
it.
this is an imported beer. We're like, we're literally making it not even a half mile
Yeah.
away. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, it looks imported, it sounds imported, it must be imported, And you're like, all right, well, so the umlaut thing, I think, was kind of the opposite direction. We really wanted to get back to like being California's brewery, and getting back to the locality, being about Davis,
Northern California, West Coast. We always thought of Davis, laid back vibe town. We're a beach town without the beach.
But
That's
here's
Davis.
the thing: your labels are very metal, and there's nothing more metal than an umlaut.
There you go. That's true.
Very true. And
Motley
Tom Stahl,
Yeah.
and Tom Stahl, our head brewer, is very metal, who couldn't make it tonight because he's got to put a baby down, which is also metal, depending on what he's doing. But he would agree. He wants us to be more metal, more umlaut, and so we try to do that on occasion.
There's because your guys' artwork reminds me of I forget the artist's name, and by forget I mean learned it once 10 years ago. But there's a label, it's a metal label. Like Baroness is on it, Red Fang. There's a metal label that has one artist they go to, and your art's very similar to that.
Interesting.
That metal album cover
Interesting.
artist.
Okay. This
So-
Bombas specifically, or
Like all your labels,
Okay, yeah.
are kind of fit. I guess the Funhouse is a bit more too fun for like metal, but
Yeah.
like, other
Which
than
is
that-
actually named after a metal cover.
Oh my god.
it was.
Yeah.
That's the most metal then.
It is actually has a metal name.
Why don't we crack one more? Is that okay?
I mean, one more, two more, 17
Yeah.
more. It's totally fine by me.
Okay.
By the way, we didn't talk about that lager at all. That was delicious.
That was
was.
an American lager.
Yeah.
Honestly, all of our glasses are empty, and honestly, I wanted more.
Description.
And that's
Here's
like,
the thing. Crazy thing. We have more.
oh, please pour me some. And that's the greatest thing about this style is it's not super sexy. It's not like everyone's craving it, but you drink it and you want more of it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you drink, you're like, oh my, I just had 2 cans of this when I had half an IPA in the same amount of time. So, it has its place.
That's true. A lot of beer can be dense when you're just like trying to have a burger and
Yeah.
a beer. Yeah.
I saw a headline the other day because sorry.
Because we're drinking these.
That's right. Well, people say like the Merit's a good example. You were talking about like, and ambers aren't a hot style. They were in the 90s, like Fat
good.
Tire, right?
But you have
get
to have
aroma
it.
from
It's
that.
your, it's your core.
Yeah, and ours won silver at the Great American Beer Fest last year, so it's still like one of the best examples in the world,
is.
really. But what I always said is like, why aren't your Meritzen sales better? Because people can't slam 6 Meritzens.
Yeah.
Right,
You
and
can
then
have
feel okay the next
one.
day. I saw a headline yesterday. It said the same exact thing. It's like, I can't slam 6 Fat Tires. And it's all about why ambers aren't in, like, why sessions are in. But, yeah, they're, like, perfect for the fall, perfect for Oktoberfest.
Yep.
And Davis's favorite beer, that's the best-selling beer we have
Yeah?
in Davis.
Nice.
Yeah, people love the Meritzen in Davis.
That's great because I was worried it was falling off because I don't really see it around or anything like that.
Yeah,
But the fact that like your local community knows your history and still supports what you guys came from is pretty awesome.
Totally. People haven't
Sells
forgotten.
better on draft.
To have
in package.
Sells better in
locally.
packaged at stores.
Really?
Grocery
Yeah.
stores.
Bottles.
Really?
Yeah, bottles.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know people that have a 30-year flagship. It doesn't really
Right,
Yeah,
exist.
right.
no, we're lucky. I mean, when we first started after the first couple of years and won Best of Show at the State Fair amongst all these IPAs, so I mean, it still has its place out there. So, hey,
I'm learning from the best. Truly.
we're having fun here.
Yeah, if you're looking for long-term information,
Yeah.
you guys might know a thing or two.
I work currently for The Wardrobe
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
for Heather Caswell. She's also a Davis business owner.
Okay,
But
yeah.
it's completely not what a business model I could relate to comedy at all. It's a fashion boutique.
Yeah, that's a completely different model. Don't listen to her. She
Yeah.
doesn't know anything and it'll help you in comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's important.
Yeah,
Getting
let's-
information from places that are fluctuating. Beer fluctuates, comedy
Oh,
fluctuates.
comedy fashion show.
She might have a
You just
viable.
did.
Yeah.
You just did one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did the burlesque.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't, I don't know.
Okay, imagine this. Here's what I'm
Yep.
doing because I do comedy. I don't know if you know that. We haven't met.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, and I also run shows at breweries. Boom, boom,
Nice.
boom. We're tying it
There
all
we
together. Check it out. I have an idea for a show where we just do. Well, it's not really a show. It's not a good show idea. It's a good idea for like a bad open mic where like there's nobody there and you're like, I don't want to do 5 minutes for nobody. Is one joke. You just tell one joke on a theme. So you do a runway. It's special clothing. You get dressed up. You get dolled up. You do your walk. You get to the top. You tell your one joke. You turn around and walk away.
I like it. I'll do that.
Oh,
I'm not a stand-up comedian, man.
Hey.
I don't like getting on stage like
That'd be
that,
fun.
but
That's
I would
pretty
do
good.
it. I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'll do
I
one
even thought
joke,
about it
yeah.
as a team building, like get the team, like all the employees together, and like everyone has to go up and do like a 30-second set.
Yeah.
It's like a bonding deal.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, so you walk up, you're getting the hoots and hollers for your outfit.
Yeah.
Then you drop the joke, and they're already primed to be hooting and hollering. Joke's gonna kill.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
walk off like a champ.
Right. It doesn't
Everybody
even necessarily have to be a joke.
We could do it at the brewery. We could do it at the brewery.
Because Beer Week used to be in February, remember?
Yep.
And they moved it to May. But it
To
used
not compete with San Francisco Beer Week,
yeah.
ostensibly.
Yeah, right.
Good move.
But it used to be right after Fashion Week. And I always had an idea that we should have done a fashion show. And all the
That would be
brewers
great.
pick one. They nominate one person from their company,
brewery? Yeah.
and they get like Cargill to sponsor it, or like
Carhartt.
Brewing gear?
Yeah,
Carhartt.
Carhartt. Sorry, get Carhartt, and then you come out and like maybe it's big enough. Maybe someone drives a forklift down. Like because we have like our 30-year-old plant manager Niels. He'd be great, like just on the forklift smoking a
I love
cigarette,
it.
And someone's carrying a bag of malt,
Yeah, that sounds great.
We should. I don't know why.
You should do it. Why are
We
you
probably
not-
still can.
Here's the thing. I always thought that your guys' Beer Week events were like my favorite things. I love your guys' Beer Week events every year.
Awesome.
Awesome. We had fun with them.
Yeah. We were out there, but I mean, we were the first Beer Week ever with Dan Scott running around, and we had way too many events set up.
Yeah.
One of those fire hot wings contests that Ben's still the champ of.
Original champ.
Flaming Grill, original champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one, I took it down.
You did?
You took your shirt off.
Trent almost passed out.
I did.
His eyes rolled in the back of his head. They were so hot.
Oh my god.
Well, I ate one of those ghost peppers.
Oh, yeah.
And all the cooks were like, no.
He almost ate his second one, and then
You
he
ate
almost.
ghost pepper?
I ate when I
Those
sat
were not
there.
on, those were not on every plate, just so you know.
They're on top of the
They-
ice cream that they
they
brought
put on
out.
ice
Oh, you're
cream,
right.
yeah.
They did do that. You're
Well, that
right.
was the first time I didn't realize a different kind of heat where it's not spicy, but you just all of a sudden feel it in your stomach. And you get like euphoric almost, and you just lay there and you can't move.
Yeah, I had a coworker shortly after that. Like I think it was like a month after I'd won that. He brought ghost peppers to work. He's like, "You want to eat this?" He was like doing pranks, like nobody knew what a ghost pepper was. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be fine." I just took it and just like bit into it. I'm like, "Are we done here?" Like,
Didn't even phase you.
he's like, "Why aren't you like freaking?" I'm like, "I know what it is. It's a
Yeah.
ghost pepper. I've had it before. I'll have it again. Like we're gonna be fine here." And then later it wasn't the best world I lived in, but that is the price you pay.
We're planning to have a ghost pepper challenge on the menu here at the restaurant. When it
Oh, I can't
opens
do it
up, so-
anymore. I have
you
no
gotta-
heat
I was
pad.
top
Jason
fan. You're
behind
coming
you.
back. You're doing it,
We
man.
gotta do
Coming
the
out of
next-
retirement, I'll take
Yeah.
my shirt off.
Yeah.
Come out of retirement.
The next show is you doing we'll have this while doing a ghost pepper challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll do. How about this? We do the runway. I walk up. I eat the ghost pepper. It's too hot. I take my shirt off at the top of the thing. Tell a joke. Try to tell a joke over the burning, swollen mouth I have, and then
There you go.
leave.
I like
Problem
it.
solved.
That
We've
could-
done it.
That's a good show idea.
Instead of everyone going to get high, everyone going to eat a ghost pepper.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so good.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
really good.
Theme shows are great. I
Sell a
love
lot
theme
more
shows.
beer. I'll tell you that.
Or
Yeah.
milk
Or
Yeah, a
milk.
lot of you need to keep milk,
Milk
on.
for
Ice cream.
$100.
Ice cream. Yeah.
for $100. Yeah.
Oh.
That's your margins. Yeah.
I need to tell you a great thing. So the championship where they brought the 8 champions. How many times you guys do it? Like 5, 6, 7 times.
Maybe
Oh, we
10.
did, yeah.
Maybe 10. Yeah.
So they did a champions round, and they used a hotter pepper. They let the chicken soak in this sauce for 3 days to really marinate. So the guy that won ended up going across the street to the convenience store,
Oh, it was Marty. Yeah.
and he's like, I couldn't even see,
Yeah.
and I was trying to find milk just to chug a thing of milk.
And the grocery store guy pulled a gun on him.
Really?
Because he ran in so fast.
Yeah,
And it's in South Sacramento, El Camino.
Yeah, El Camino and
And
Bell.
he thought he was going to rob the place because he ran in so fast. He was running straight for the milk aisle and opened and started slamming a gallon of milk. And then he looks over and the convenience guy's got his gun out. And he's like, no, I'm just here to get some milk.
Because they were so hot. It was
Yeah, Marty. Yeah.
Oh, I brought those wings back to the brewery and gave them to our head brewer at the time, and the owner of Sakane Distributing and this other brewery, and they literally took a bite of them. And
Well, Ryan left him on the table and then didn't tell him.
Yeah, they didn't tell him. And these guys, all of a sudden, I'm talking to someone, and all of a sudden, I hear this, "Fuck you! What the fuck?" And these people are screaming, they're screaming and yelling, running around.
The restaurant's full of people.
Yeah, they're running in the
It's
restaurant, grabbing ice cream and milk and shoving it. They're I think I ruined all my relationships that day with them. They wouldn't talk to me. They were giving me the finger afterwards.
Vulnerable.
They're so those things were blistering hot.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't making any
we
friends.
had to eat 10 of them.
Flaming Grill.
Yeah.
Still doing
Grill
it.
Cafe, no longer at that location.
Yeah,
but
they
at
got
several locations
multiple.
throughout Sacramento,
Yeah.
Elk Grove, West Sacramento.
Yeah,
Still
multiple.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Love those guys.
Fernando's my guy.
Yeah.
Dude, Fernando's
Good guy.
great.
Yeah, they're great out
I'll
there.
just walk into the Elk Grove location I'm glad you're here. I've got a new beer I need you to try. I don't even order beer there. He just brings me a thing he thinks I'll like.
Nice.
It's
they got
awesome.
good burgers too. So.
Oh, yeah. Everything's so good there. It's awful. Have you been there, Bex?
I don't think so.
They got all kinds of crazy meats, so you can get like an ostrich burger.
They have
you can
exotic
get, like,
meats.
you can get-
Red rum? Red rum?
Yeah, but so that's back. They have all different types of stuff out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
They're
Used to
good.
be called Murder
Murder Burger.
Murder
Yeah.
Burger? Now they're
And-
gone, though.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, they just like
They
within the
just-
past 2 months. Yeah,
Dave's gonna do a whole.
Wait, they're gone?
yeah, they're gone.
Murder
yeah.
Burger
They're
is
done.
gone?
They're done.
They're gonna do like a redevelopment over there. The city's gonna make it be.
Yeah, that's.
nicer.
I think they would have kept their lease, but they didn't. But part of it too is in and out across the street. I'm sure.
Yeah, that did
never
not
helped.
help.
Oh.
That's imagine competing with the $1 billion
Yeah.
Goliath.
Ugh.
I was looking at the building right next to it. It used to be the third Space Art Collective.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Okay, so my comedy mentor actually was producing shows there.
Was that Haley?
Haley.
Haley Van March Deacon. I know her.
Nice.
Amazing
Small world.
person. Yeah. So she was producing shows there and was bringing people from Adult Swim and
Nice.
crazy amazing things were happening there. Like there was an art gallery in the freaking back and it developed me as an artist and built my confidence in my community that there was a space to go and perform and showcase myself. And now it's gone.
Is it?
And it's been gone since for 3 years now.
Oh wow,
That's about right.
I remember that. I remember that was going on. They'd come over and buy beer sometimes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it seemed like that whole area's getting cleared out to put in development over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Now you
read
got a Dutch Brothers, you got the In and Out. You can't be having an art collective
Yeah.
in that area.
No,
you're not
it's
too
maximizing your
commercial.
profits as a city if you're
Right.
having an art collective in the midst of all these giant companies.
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Ugh. Davis has changed, man.
It's
changed.
sad.
It's changed. Changed. We're hoping to be a part of that change for the better.
For the
you know.
better, yeah.
Yeah.
People are. Everyone, I mean, there's some serious pent up demand for this restaurant, so it's coming. We're working on it. We got a restaurant operator on our team. Got
That's
a
gonna be great.
fresh California cuisine menu, farm to table emphasis.
Working with UC Davis's meat department over there. They have one of the top butchering programs in the country, and so we're gonna be raising some animals, getting them butchered, featuring their meats on our menu and stuff.
Feeding them our spent grain, finishing them on our grain. Same like Sierra Nevada does in Chico State.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're one of the few that can actually match what they do. As far as that goes.
that's the model. Probably the bar for all breweries.
It's for every
Ken
brewery.
Grossman, also known as Benjamin Franklin of the beer industry.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's like you see a guy like that, and
He's done so many things.
I mean, he built that brew with his bare hands,
Legend.
out of scrap parts.
Yeah.
But I think just that alone, UC Davis, Sudwerk, Chico State, Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
It's like you go to Chico State, you're branded Sierra Nevada the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, just the city of Chico and what Sierra Nevada does for that city by, like you said, to spend grains.
Yeah.
They even give electricity because they make too much.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts. So you guys kind of are the smaller version of that, which is very cool because it's a college town. There's a lot of similarities. The age is about the same. Not really 10.
Yeah, they're about 10 years old. They're
10 years
celebrating their
older.
40th next year.
Yeah, but just not a lot of breweries can claim that they're doing for their community the things that they and you guys can say you're doing.
Right.
Definitely. And we've seen all the
Totally.
great things they've done, and we've always thought from the very beginning we'd love to be, the lager to Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale or the lager to Lagunitas' IPA. We always felt like there's a spot out there in our area as well for our style. So
Yeah, and I love that you guys are focusing on lagering still in a world where the lager's gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
But you still we know America loves hops.
Yeah.
We're not leaving you out.
Right.
we love hops too.
That hoppy lager,
Yep.
one of my favorite beers.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. We spent almost over 4 years prototyping that beer. We started with a light lager and sourced almost every hop we could find from around the world, single hopped that beer, tasted them all, and figured out which hops we liked the best and figured out the combinations that went into it. Then figured out how do you dry hop a lager, because that's not typical. And
How do you dry up a lager?
so like you dry up an IPA.
Okay, perfect.
So that's why we had to brew some IPAs, and we started doing a lot of barrel aging stuff. So we had to do some traditional, farmhouse ales and stuff, and then we learned how to do, farmhouse lagers and started doing it on the lager platform. And that hoppy lager we did, I mean, like I said, it took us 3 or 4 years, but we grew up loving. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Lagunitas IPA, but then we'd come back to, Sudwerk Pilsner if we had that, or, another, Bud or Coors, other macro lager, and ping pong. We're like, well, why isn't there anything available out there that kind of is the best of both worlds? And that's what we try to do with the hoppy lager. Deliver your hops like an IPA, but still be able to drink, a 6-pack of it, a pitcher of it, and, not have your palate worn out.
Yeah.
So.
And it's got a beautiful nod to the city of California and the city of Davis in its logos.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, we're fired up. That was something we did. Our original logo is the Brower Boppin', or the Brewer's Coat of Arms. And that's in the top of our label here with the bottle here. It's on the bottom of our cans. And then we brought in, like I was talking about earlier, trying to really get back to our locality. New logo with the bear on the bike. It's the California bear on the Davis bicycle. And it literally means Davis, California. And so Davis, like Trent was saying earlier, is a huge biking city. And we're actually the bike capital of the U.S. We have the Bike Hall of Fame here. So,
that's right. I've seen that a few times. I think I've been in it, even.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. So, yeah, it's something that we had a lot of fun with bringing into the branding and really getting, a little bit creative, having some fun with it and bringing it back to Davis.
Yeah, and the California Grizzly that's riding the high wheeler, they actually used to roam Yolo County. The Grizzly did back in the 1800s before they went extinct. So, ultimate local beer here.
Yeah.
But hopefully, that, and I think we've set a really good example of how you involve your community, and now you see just people almost expect local brewery is going to give back, which is great. And that's spread to that level. But again, hopefully it's not to the detriment of the brewery, and eventually it comes back to them. But it's hard. Pay it forward for 100 years, Yeah. And then it'll start coming back to you. So we're at year 30.
Yeah.
70 more years.
Yeah. And you're going to be fine.
70 more years. So when our babies, when our grandkids, they'll be ready. Then they'll be ready, to take it to the next level.
Collabapalooza, an indie beer collaboration celebration featuring independent San Diego craft breweries, is back for the third year. The Karl Strauss signature event is going down on Saturday, October 19th, behind the North Park Observatory. Voted Best Beer Event of 2017 and 2018 by the readers of West Coaster magazine, Collabapalooza celebrates the spirit of independent beer made in San Diego, with once-in-a-lifetime chances to taste a unique selection of one-off collaboration beers and rare releases made by more than 40 San Diego breweries. Visit karlstrauss.com for more details and tickets. That's karlstrauss.com. Collabapalooza, Saturday, October 19th at the North Parks Observatory in San Diego, California.
But we just tried the Hop Berserker too, which is a double IPL, 8%. Another new release inspired by Niels Jensen, who's thinks he has Viking blood. He's from Denmark.
Just thinks it.
Well, he's pretty certain. He grew up in Denmark, and he knows a lot of Viking lore, and so that's where and he's been in the brewery for almost 30 years. So we thought we have a couple beers. We have one more beer coming next month that's going to be more directly about celebrating him for the 30th anniversary, which you guys should try and come to. October 26th, all day event. We got live mural competition, music all day, taiko drumming, beer releases, sour beer garden, going all out.
Yeah, your sours are great. Your barrel aged stuff is wonderful. That's why I love Beer Week. You guys do such weird, inventive, fun things.
For sure. And it's
just like right here, and there's always music or some sort of art thing. It's great. Ugh.
Appreciate it.
I don't ever come. I just love. I tell people you should do this. I'm busy, but you should go.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's the worst.
Yeah. What's your hot take, Ben, on the beer industry? In Sacramento, what's your hot take?
They're not all going to survive. There's too many, and it sucks because I love so many of those people, so many of those beers.
Yep.
And it's just like you're going to be fine for 2, 3, 4 years, but at some point it's going to be too much. If people, especially if people keep coming, if breweries keep starting up, you got to either find your niche, which is an important thing in how you differentiate yourself from everybody else. If you can't do that, I don't know what to tell you.
Totally. What's your top 3 picks in Sac?
Oh no, I'm gonna forget. Does
in the
that
past
be
year?
Sudwerk.
No, just new. We'll say new breweries in the past 5 years that opened. What
in the last 5 years? I love Urban Roots. Everything they're doing.
Totally.
From their events to their beer to their food. I mean, how do you not say Urban Roots right off the top of your head?
Yeah.
I've got my place at Flatland.
Nice.
Just for what they're able to do with what the equipment they have is insane. The fact that when a new style of beer comes out, like this is going to be a trend, and it never ends up being a trend, you know, like a black IPA or a brewed IPA. Everything that they've done has been like, oh, this might be a thing that I'm like, this trend's going to take off because this one I'm having here is so good. Then I go somewhere else, like, oh, everybody else makes garbage ones of these,
Right.
Like they're just they're so good at like just messing with things and be like, we made this thing, I don't know if it's going to work.
Right.
Like they made like a session pastry stout. That's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
session pastry. That's awesome.
it's like, what is this? 12% beers? We're going to do it at like 5.2.
Yeah.
Get all that flavor in there. It's nuts.
awesome.
Yeah, they're doing good stuff.
Yeah, but in 5 years, that's a weird cutoff for me.
Seems like with most of the
Just open up to everyone, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that, I think if I got to name a third one, that's going to be tough, you know? Like, because when you get, can you nail the classic styles? Can you start to experiment? Like, that's,
Have you guys been to Alaro?
Yeah.
Alaro's
Oh, yeah.
great.
Oh yeah, they do good stuff.
The son of the owner I was dating for a while.
Oh nice, nice.
So he would go in and take me in and be like, I'm the prince of this place. Give me a beer. Like,
That place is great.
Oh yeah.
the food is really dang good.
Yeah.
The servers have to take quizzes on the food every week so that they
Nice.
know
That's
the
smart.
ingredients.
Yep.
But also something I wanted to mention is this beer is reminding me. I went to Europe last year. I was living there for a little over 3 months, and my favorite thing was beer and grenadine.
Okay.
Just called
interesting.
a tango, like tango in French.
yeah.
And it was really like fruity and good, but also it still had that like hoppiness of beer without being a mixed drink.
Interesting.
And this is like very much reminding me of that, like without the like syrup.
Yep.
Wow.
You know?
This one, the Berserker. Sweet.
Yeah, that one uses a bunch of sultana hops and has a little big citrus and actually a fruity pineapple profile to it. So you're going to get some of that through it. And it's a bigger ABV beer, so you have a little more sweetness in the malt profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably giving you a little bit of that.
You didn't know I was a beer expert.
Whoa.
I asked you
Or
directly,
mine.
are
Super
you a beer
taster.
person?
Yeah. Look at that palate over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reckon it.
I said I like beer.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's all I
say I'm a
need.
beer genius.
And I like
drink what
this
you like.
because it does, like you guys said, it mixes the IPA hophead people and then your classic lager
Totally.
style.
Definitely.
Like, if you didn't put lager on the name of your beer,
Yeah.
do you think people would be like, "Oh, this is a great IPA"?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do it all the
100%.
time.
They do it all the time, yeah.
This is the smoothest IPA I've ever
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's kind of how we describe it. A lot of people are like, oh, what's the difference between an ale and a lager, the IPA and IPL? And it's like, really, we describe a lager. It's, obviously it's cold fermented versus warm fermented, but we describe it being a little bit lighter in mouthfeel, a little bit crisper, a little more balanced in your flavor profile between the bitterness and the sweetness. And that's what we try to bring to all of our beers, whether they're 8%, 80 IBU beer, or if it's, down to like a sour beer, try to keep those three-dimensional, not
Session sours.
yeah, not make them really puckering, not making them sweet, so you try to keep that balance so you can actually, I think the balance really brings that drinkability where you can enjoy it over a couple glasses versus being worn out. So
And it feels like the lager, too, is like a good backbone to showcase all the other ingredients where a lot of times the ale yeast and those estery, more bold flavors sometimes compete. And so it's like this gives you that better flavor profile, easier call out the ingredients like you were just doing with your palate. But
Yeah. I mean, the problems with
Yeah, it cleans it all
IPA
up, so
Cleaner.
it's like very, very like differentiated flavors. Please go.
You interrupted me.
Typical male.
Typical. Problem with IPAs, they freaking pucker you up, which I hate. And then lagers a lot of times have no taste. They're trying to be so smooth. So it's awesome you guys thought about those problems. We're like, oh, let's
Totally.
get the best.
and honestly, our biggest battle is education.
Yeah.
And the marketing, not just as educated, but the marketing behind the education to get people to care. Oh, it's not IPA, I don't want it. Oh, it's a lager, oh, I don't want it. It's like, and IPA is such a bar call that you go to the bar and there's 20 IPA taps and you say, I'll take an IPA. Bartender says which one.
Right.
Now customers have gotten a lot smarter, but before it's like, well, there's more than one IPA, which, I'll take your recommendation. So we see that with like Pilsner, not as many Pilsner handles.
Oh, that People's Pills is so good, though.
And that's
yeah.
our
that
best seller. So we go after that Pilsner handle,
I
we
love
become
it.
that bar call.
I love it. It's for the people.
Yep,
It is. I mean, that's the name came from our being our number one seller. It formerly was Northern Pilsner,
Yeah.
but and we were pushing that hoppy lager hard. And that education gap was hard because not every bartender knew how to sell it like Ryan does. Yeah. Ryan sells it, and you're like, oh, give me a pitcher right now. Yeah. But all of a sudden, look at the numbers. Pilsner, this is the people's Pilsner.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. That's why we really are focusing on the restaurant and giving that experience where we can talk to people about this, because people don't get it and they don't really want to get it. Because I don't blame them. It's a lot of thinking just to drink. They want it. If you drink it, they get it. They don't need the words. They just taste it like, whoa, I can drink more of these than I typically can. Why? And then you can open up to talking about what we just talked about. So, we kind of do it one drinker at a time, and it's a slow process. But, the Pilsner, it's one of the most, that and just like a import lager, most widely drank styles of beer in the world. And, really locally, there wasn't anyone really making a good clean Pilsner. Everyone was trying to make one. They wanted to make more IPAs, so they wouldn't let it ferment long enough. They didn't want to bring European malts. And so we get all this malt from Germany, from Meyerman. It's a floor malt, so it gives a real light mouthfeel. Use only European hops. We lager it for over 30 days, really smooth it out. We put a lot of pride and effort in this beer. It's actually as expensive to make as a big hoppy beer, even though it doesn't have the expensive hops, but that's what it takes to make this quality of Pilsner and to do it every day. And so we really hang our hat on this thing, and we tried to make a Pilsner for the people that, that they deserve to be drinking. So, this is a good one to cleanse their palate after the big hoppy beers too.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between Pilsner and lager?
That's a great question.
Because I tend to, when I'm buying beers, see them as the same thing.
They are.
Much. They're
they
the same.
actually are.
Yeah.
They're same yeast.
I'm a genius!
Yeah.
Same yeast. They're both lagers.
Yep.
Pilsner is a lager style.
I knew it.
So there's two styles of beer. There's ales and there's lagers, and then they all umbrella under that. Yeah. So, and that a lot of times people will try to argue with us, like, no, it's not a lager, it's a Pilsner. And we're like, no, it's both. They're like, no. And I'm like, all right, you're right. Let's leave it at that. But
as far as classic styles, the Pilsner's the hoppiest classic lager.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. So they're like,
Nice.
it's like, we'll use that as our base, and then we'll just get crazy with it. I love the fact that you guys like, this is an India Pale Lager, hazy.
Yep.
We know if you see that word, you're ordering it.
Yeah.
And so we figured out how to make our IPLs hazy.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
And our whole brew team wanted to kill us because they're
because-
like, are you guys idiots? Like, do you know what a lager does? Well, lager yeast does. It drops out of suspension.
Yeah.
That's what it's.
So naturally, our hazy lagers don't look like your hazy IPAs, but it's our own definition.
They're thick enough.
of a hazy lager.
They're like cloudy enough.
Yeah, you call them truly. Yeah, they're unfiltered
Compared to the Pilsner.
Compared to the Pilsner. You saw that Bombas. You couldn't see through that.
And I think that's the same thing that every brewery, and going and talking with some of the big hazy IPA drinkers, you sit there at the bar and you drink the hazy IPA that they just tapped. It's completely cloudy. You drink the one that was tapped a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's already dropping out of suspension. So it's not just us. And I think what we try to do is, it's unfiltered. It has a haze. It's not going to be a big chewy haze like your New England style IPA. But at the same time, it's our take on it.
And you're getting the flavor profile. You're getting the mouthfeel.
You nailed it. And that's what we're trying to do. Like, we really feel like what the hazy IPA was all about is delivering those hop flavors and aromas without the bitterness, like you were talking about, where you're like, I just pucker up in astringency, like dries my mouth out. And it's like, I think that's why hazy became so popular, because all of a sudden all these late addition hops reduce the bitterness, and now you get all the flavor and aroma without having this big dry beer.
Yeah.
So
soft mouthfeel. It's almost like what we were trying to do with the hoppy lager, right?
Yeah.
Create this refreshing, get hop forward, get lager finish. All of a sudden now, brewers hack the system, consumers respond. You can make a similar beer to a hoppy lager in half the amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's like they're both in the same realm of what we're all going for, which is getting consumers to buy more of it and make it more enjoyable. And so
and delivering a sessionable drinking experience.
A better drinking experience.
Where you can really enjoy your beer from the first sip to the last sip, and then have another glass of it versus being halfway through being like, man, this beer's going warm because I'm slowly drinking it. My palate's getting worn out, and you're already thinking into something different. But we want make the drinking experience easy.
Drinking Sudwerk.
Yeah, exactly. Just like with the lager,
Easy
it's like
drinking.
all of a sudden you're drinking, and the glass is empty, and you're filling it up, and it's not a thinking process. It complements what you're doing, and that's the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do.
In moderation.
Can we translate that to comedy club advice for me.
Yeah.
Of like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
do I, because you probably know if you're at an open mic and there's not that many good people.
Yeah. It turns
Everyone
you
is
off
like,
from everything.
how can I leave as
Yeah.
fast and like as
quietly.
silently as possible?
Yeah.
And it can tend to like ruin your night,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
when you're like, oh my god, this person's fucking crazy or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, a bad beer will
Yeah.
ruin your brand just like bad comedy will ruin your club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Like that's why it's nice. Like for me, doing a comedy at not a club. Club's so dangerous because like your reputation lies on every show. You have one dirty comic who's like not funny but like raunchy, and people are like, I don't like raunchy, but I came because I went to a show before and it was good. They will
Right.
hate you for bringing that one comic on stage. Like if you guys bring an awful beer to the world, people are like, Sudwerk doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
Why would you go to Sudwerk? Like,
Right.
Yeah, we're very.
Yeah,
it's such
yeah.
a,
You nailed it. You nailed
and
it.
that's why I feel like comedy and beer kind of, as far as business aspects, go together because those small little things can be such big things.
Yep.
Definitely.
We're
I
both
think-
selling experiences to a certain extent. So that's what it is. People have bad experience. Yeah, they're not coming back.
And we do a lot of, like we talked about earlier, a lot of testing and piloting, and we do that internally. So that's something, you probably got to put together some kind of mechanism to filter people and understand, who they are and what kind of acts they have, and then where those places fit in, or if they do, and we'll try styles and maybe it doesn't turn out well, and then we go back to the drawing board or we progress it. And I think that's something you can think about too. It's like, and then I think also with the consumer, they want to, not be surprised in a bad way. So the more information you provide, like, hey, this is an open mic event, so people know that. I think
Yeah.
people
It's-
understand
could be first
open
time
Open mic
yeah.
people know. They're
And then-
expectations. That's you got to set the
Like this could be a
expectations.
person who's never done it before. This could be a professional. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like what you're talking about too, about curating your show where it's like you can break it up and you have a break and it's interactive. And I think that can help pivot from a bad experience into a new experience without people leaving. It's like, all right, well, this crazy person just went, I'm getting out of here. Oh, wait, stop. We're going to do this gateway experience. And then we're going to come back and do something different. And then we're like, all right, well, I'll stick around and see what goes on,
Yeah.
So-
And like, just like, because you already dealt with specialty shows, you know that like even the name of a show can help people go, oh, this is going to be like a dirtier show. Like I remember, I think it was a comedy spot. There's a show called, they brought in a bunch of Chico comics. It was called A Taste of Chico's Nuts.
So you knew what you're getting.
So you knew it was going to be like weird stuff and like dirty stuff.
Yeah.
And like the 209 guys, Stockton, Modesto, Manteca area, they're usually a bit more crass as far as comedy is concerned.
Right.
And so if you kind of pitch it in a way that understands that that's what that show's going to be, it can turn away people who will tell you, don't go to this venue. They do terrible things because they're like, they weren't going to come to your show based on the name. Like names are so important in beer. They're so important in comedy. Like tell them what they're getting.
Yeah.
Is really what's important.
That's true. You order a stout and they give you a sour. You're like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
And some people will taste it and go, okay, I need to recalibrate my expectations.
But they might not. But
But they
what
might
if they
not.
like a sour?
Yeah.
You
What if it
know?
turns
Oh,
out they
shit, I
like
didn't-
it? You don't know. But like I always do it with beer. If there's like a weird style, I'll like take a sip like with my expectation of what it's going to be. It's like, that's not what I thought it was going to be. But now I know it's not that.
Yep.
Now I got to recalibrate my understanding of what I thought this was going to be. And some people don't do that. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think we always talk about this thing called product market fit, and it's something I think struggles from like going from a home brewer to a professional brewer, and you have this great product, or it's like, I make the best brown ale in the world, and then you try to bring it to market and it doesn't fit with the market because the market doesn't want brown ale.
Yeah.
So it's like you could love burlesque clown shows, but the market not want it, so you got to figure out what you have that fits with the market. And like, there's something you can be open to everything, but also you got to have some clarity about what you actually are. And then you can have flexibility from there.
Yeah.
I think that's my difficulty right now in business is like I am seeing things through my own perspective where it's like I want to fit all these niche markets of like comedian, whatever, like queer hangout space, whatever. And I feel like I'm not thinking big enough because literally the next question I was going to ask you guys was, do you think like a low stimulation day like that happens every month where people want entertainment but they don't want it to be overwhelming is like I already feel like that's a niche thing and I'm not sure if there would be a market for that.
What types of things would they do?
It would be like acoustic music or something like that where it's like, hey, if
There's
you
no
want
real
to go out,
interaction. You just kind of like absorb it without having to be too involved.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Have
Yeah.
some low stimulation. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Definitely.
I think people then always know, there's always something going on, and whether they can, how their mood, they feel like that versus a comedy show.
Yeah, so you could be like, Case of the Mondays. Boom.
Oh.
Monday night show. You're good.
Yeah, yeah. Just naturally, put it on the days where people aren't going to be going out. Like,
Mondays was what I was thinking
Yes.
too.
Yeah, we're not even open Mondays just because we don't, feel like many people want to come out here on a Monday.
And I think you have a low barrier to entry to try these things, so you can try things and test them out and then constantly tweak them. You can have that kind of pop-up shop mentality where it's like you set this idea, it doesn't work. Why? You want to keep it going, tweak it. Maybe there isn't the market out there, or there is the market. You just got to figure out a way to re-engage them, or it's wildly successful and you keep it going. And that's something we benefited from having our tap room, where it's like we can put out a beer that we think is good, and then the market's like, we don't like this. Okay, well, let's bring that back. Let's not push this out into all the supermarkets and bars,
That is the beauty of the dock for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, I love coming to the dock just because, like, you never know what you're going to get. It's like, I always get excited when I come in here.
Awesome.
Be like, what's at the dock right now?
Right.
What are they fucking with?
Yeah.
Like, like you have an IPA on just called Experimental IPA. Is
There's
that
a
name?
scientist
No, we don't know if you want to like. Why would we waste our time naming it? We don't know if you're going to like it.
We're experimenting with it.
It's got a weird hop.
Yeah.
It's not, the hops are like hop 17432 rhizome A, and it's like,
Exactly.
what are we going to name off of that? Nothing. So, it's very cool.
You nailed it. You nailed it. We have a lot of fun with it. We appreciate it, that you appreciate it, and put a lot of effort into it. And it's it's a playground for the brewers. We get to come up with all kinds of cool stuff and put it out there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite event you guys do in the whole year?
I'd say probably the cherry blossom.
I was gonna ask if you guys do that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, we put partner with UC Davis Group. They put it on. They do a lot of the heavy lifting. We provide the space. We help them get grants and stuff like that. But it's like a 5,000 person event over a weekend, and it just keeps growing every year.
I don't know this one. Tell me more about it.
It's every April, and we partner with this taiko. It's called Bakuhatsu Taiko Dan. Is the name of the group. But they basically turn a music festival. But in between the music festival, they have all these cultural elements. They do a lot of taiko, Japanese drumming, which is like super powerful. And we've done pub crawls. We bring them around with us, and they just start playing, and people are like, oh.
That's amazing.
And we want to have them we want to give because we're fundraising too. We want to get some investors in here and have them kick it off. And it gets you fired up.
Set the
You
tone.
can feel it.
I mean, if you can't get down to drums, you have no soul.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how
It
I
reaches
feel.
your heartbeat.
It does. Yeah,
does.
you
It
feel it. You feel it.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I played basketball. Then I got cut from the team, and then I got brought back because the teammates wanted me. It's a whole thing. Anyway, the important thing is when I was cut, because my coaches hated me because I was a rascal, and also when you're in high school, 6'3" is tall.
Yeah.
Right, so you had
impressive.
to play power forward or center.
Yeah.
And I was a shooter, and I was like, "No, put me on the wing, coach. I'm gonna rain these trays." I shot 65% from three. It's not a big deal. I'm very good. So they hated me because I didn't want to bang down low. I'm like, I'm 100 at the time. I was like 160 pounds. I'm like, I can't bang down low. I'm like, I'm going to get forced out every time. I can't rebound. I'm not designed for it. The important thing when I was cut, I would hang out in the drum pits for the bands that would play.
Yeah.
I love drums. Like, I'm a percussion junkie. It's my favorite thing.
You got to come out for the taiko drumming.
Yeah, we get you Almighty next year. It's awesome.
I'm bored.
They'll be out here tomorrow actually for the Bombas release.
No, they won't.
Oh, sorry. The anniversary party. Anniversary
party, which I will be around that weekend. So
Yeah, we'll get them to kick off because doing this mural competition. We figure we have them kick it off, get the artists all jacked before they start painting.
Mural competition, that's cool.
Yeah, we in the winners. We got a cash prize, and then we're talking to one of our wholesalers to wrap their truck basically on a vinyl wrap, so you see the artwork driving up and down the freeway.
Yes.
Yeah.
On your trucks.
On one of our wholesalers' trucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
How do you select the winner of a mural competition?
So it's a good question because it's our inaugural year.
So you got to figure it out.
That's the answer. No, this is what we have. Basically, we have criteria. We'll say hey, how does this represent our brand, the community? How creative is it? and like just the quality of work, right?
But
So
who are
maybe-
your judges? Sorry.
that we're still probably our wholesaler, probably this lady from the city who's like the head of the arts council,
Okay.
art and culture.
People who know art.
Yeah,
might
we-
be a helpful judge.
yeah. And
Our
then probably
in-house
our
artists.
own in-house artists. He's organizing the whole
cool.
competition.
Keep the person from the city because they know how to keep their biases out of their judgments.
Yeah.
But if you're having another artist who's like up and coming, they're like, I don't want this person to win because I feel like I could have done better than them, even if
Right.
they maybe didn't.
Right.
So it's kind of a thing. Also, just so we know, I do a comedy competition every month.
Oh, yeah?
At Hussex Tap Room in Clarksburg.
Yeah.
It's the best comedy competition you could ever do. It's called Cutthroat Comedy.
Nice.
This is a plug.
I love it.
We're gonna get into them. Get ready. Get
Do
your
it.
event calendars out. Here we go.
Yeah. Right. Hold on. Let me get my pencil.
So it's Cutthroat Comedy. What it is, it's 6 comics. You pay $5 to see the comics. With that $5, you get 5 tokens to distribute however you want. You can give all 5 tokens to your favorite person. You can give 5 tokens to 5, like one token to 5 different comics, or any combination, 2 and 2 and 1, 1 1 1 1 1, whatever you want to do. But it's the audience voting for who they like the best.
That's awesome.
But here's the thing. You only get 5 tokens, and there are 6 comedians. So even if you love everybody, you got to tell one, you're not worth it. You don't get a token. And I paid the comics based on how many tokens they get. It's the world's most fair comedy
I like
competition.
it.
How many
Because
people in the audience?
depends.
0.
We've been doing about 22 to 24.
Yeah.
I did miss one last month, but apparently only had 6. That was rough. And since this
not bad.
episode's
The
coming
last
out
one
on Monday-
I
Awesome.
did.
Hey, we'll come out there.
Come out. Let us
I'm
know
just gonna
next
say
one.
it's
Let us
the
know. We'll talk to the bar. See if we
first
got a beer on
Wednesday,
tap. And
First Wednesday of every month, 7 p.m. Hussex in Clarksburg. Great beer, great food, great wine. We just show up and do it.
nice.
6 new comics every month, and in fact, we've been doing it 6 months. So this month is actually our championship round. Everybody who's won is coming back for the big fight.
Nice.
Oh my god.
So if you haven't seen the show, which it's based on the attendance, you haven't. This is the one to come see.
What's the date?
Awesome.
October the 2nd, 7 p.m.
Nice.
We got a guy who's been on BET.
Nice.
We got a person who's patched at, the Laugh Factory in L.A., San Francisco Punchline, person who's been on Mortified, Mortified, which is a show where you read your high school diaries to a national audience.
Interesting.
Who else is on the show? Person who runs Real Live Comedians. I forget who else is on the show, but they all have like really cool credits where they're going to be breaking soon, so it's very,
deal.
very cool.
We'll come check it out.
You should do it. It's great. It's only $5. You get to see some of the best comics from all over.
Do you
cross.
produce or Mike or MC it?
I do MC it, and I am in the voting. But on this one, clearly I'm not going to make the money. It's going to be those guys, those gals out there getting the money. So I'm very excited about it to have.
Nice.
And the fact that like everybody but one could come back and do it. One person's like, "Oh no, I have a family thing."
That's
I'm
pretty
like,
solid.
I'm like, great. That means I'll do a set and hopefully like not lose money on the show.
Nice.
Have you done the apple tree stand up?
Yeah, with Stephen Ferris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it. I like judging more.
Oh, really?
Because so the Apple Tree competition is a guy. It's like 3 or 4 comics. It kind of
however
alternates
many,
depending on
yeah.
what his schedule is, and it's based on his idea. The idea came from he was in the bathroom one time on the way out of work. He was leaving work. And he still had an apple from his lunch bag, so he like put the apple in his mouth while he was peeing. He's like, "What would happen if this just fell right now while I'm peeing?" And he's like, "What if we did a show where like you only got points based on how many times you could get somebody to drop an apple out of their mouth?" So it's like a comic does a set, and there's 3 people on stage with an apple in their mouths, and if it falls, you get a point.
Yeah, so they make them laugh so
So,
it falls. I gotcha.
Here's the thing: laughter doesn't really result in an apple dropping because you laugh
No.
downward,
Yeah.
not upward.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's not the best, but since I've done it on stage and I've been a judge, I realized that like you have to like purposely drop it. So I do.
If you like them, you purposely.
I
drop
purposely drop on a good joke, and people are like, "You only got 3." I'm like, "That's pretty good for people who don't know what they're doing when they're judging."
it. Have you ever not dropped it on purpose?
Yeah.
It happens.
Here's the thing about like comedy. There's bad comedy. And the worst part of bad comedy, especially when you're judging it, is you can't leave. Because when I see bad comedy, I just walk out.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't
tough when you're a judge.
do
It's
it.
tough.
But when you're a judge, you got to be there for every
Right.
agonizing
And
moment.
listen to it.
Yeah.
You got to be like, oh, it's not like maybe they'll redeem themselves. Maybe they're building to something that'll pay off and make all this awful stuff great, which does happen. Like there's jokes where, like, in the moment it's like, oh, that's not good. But then later there's a callback or some other reference that's like, oh, they were setting me up for this big laugh here, and now it's all fine. But most of the time, bad comedy is bad comedy.
Yeah.
Just like beer. Bad beer is bad beer. And if you're judging, you got to drink it.
Yeah, don't
you know?
fix it. Don't Frankenstein it. Just dump it.
I did for a short time do a segment on the show called Spin the Bottle, where you make a beer. Where, like, what's an experience where you made a beer that you thought was going to be one thing? It wasn't that, but it was good enough to put out. And you're just like, named it something different or gave it a different style.
Oh, yeah. We got some beers like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this one, Uncle Buffalo Theory, and we were aging some stout in a Buffalo Trace barrel, and on the second turn it went sour, and we're like, sour stout? This got to dump it. And then we got busy, didn't dump it, tasted it later. It was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then we dumped it,
Fester.
intentionally brewed it, and now we have a sour stout
Fester.
we run.
Even better. This is
Uncle
remember
Fester's Dahlbach.
Yeah, and remember, like, maybe this was probably 10 years ago, we released this S series. I don't know if you remember the Imperial Pills. There's like an
I
S.
love the Imperial Pills.
Yeah,
That's great.
And we did another one called Dunkelweissbach. And this is like before sours were taken off, but it soured out in the market. And then we start getting emails from people that were like, this is the best beer I've ever had. I didn't know sour beers existed. And like, well, we didn't do that on purpose, but.
Thank you.
So.
Yeah.
We're very good. We're very talented.
Yeah, right. That took a lot of time and effort.
Some of the best inventions are accidents.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Like, even when I guess not really by way of, you mentioned Alaro, which was formerly Rubicon. Like, their wheat wine was a mistake. Like, so many beers were mistakes early on. Like, we overdid this one thing, and it turned out okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want
Like
to sample one
Stone's
more?
Arrogant Bastard.
We definitely have to sample one more. That's the only can that's not opened.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It would
since
be
we
rude to leave
we
one.
mentioned sour,
Yeah.
accidental sours, we'll taste a purposeful sour.
Still smells a little floral though.
Yeah, we have fruits in there. So there's citrus, there's lime, and then some lemon and orange as well.
Oh, is this
Also
that
some-
margaritas?
Yeah.
Also
sour?
some sea salt.
Lime is like a good sweet sour
Oh, thank you.
mix.
Yes, the idea cocktail-inspired sours.
Oh,
This
that's
is one
really
of them.
good.
They're margarita-inspired.
Yeah.
It's kettle sour, also known as session sour.
Yeah.
If done right. We've been hearing that
Cheater
lately.
sour.
Cheater sour, another name for it.
They turn out nice, and like, one of our favorite cocktails is margarita. I think it's the most sold cocktail in the U.S., and it's something that lends well to a sour style. So
Yeah, sweet, sour, and salty. How do you mess that
Yeah.
up?
Yep.
Like, that was only natural to come together. So
Yeah.
That would be a good beer for picnic day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Be like,
definitely.
Great.
yeah.
For the seniors.
Yep. So yeah, this is our Funhouse
For the
series.
seniors. For the seniors.
It's a sour kettle series that we have a new fruit come out each month. So we have a new release each month, and this one was the
most
citrus
recent
and sea
last
salt.
week. And then the artist we have in house, Gregory Schilling, he'll just Funhouse is the backdrop. He has different fruits coming and flowing out of the house.
That's so cool.
But yeah, but to your point, the brewers know the kettle sour is not the true barrel aged long term sour, but we found this is a good gateway sour for a lot of customers too. Like that maybe don't think they like sours and are wary, and then you sample them on something like this, and it opens this whole new world for them.
Yeah.
And hopefully they work towards their way up the ladder and get some barrel aged.
Yeah.
Make you pucker.
And we're,
Yeah.
and we're not trying to make these kettle sours taste like our barrel aged sours. It's sometimes
Which are so good if
yeah.
you don't. If you
Oh,
haven't had a
exactly.
chance.
No, we got some coming out here soon that you got to come back for. We got the Funky Hop Farm
I
releasing.
mean, you got to
and-
pull my leg.
Yeah, so we got to come on back and we'll do a whole other sour tasting.
26.
For your
4
anniversary?
sours in
Yep.
there, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of breweries sometimes will push the sour kettle to be as sour and puckering as possible, and you just kind of get a very sharp sour acidity out of
There's a
that.
place for that.
There
But
is,
like
yeah.
for an intro, not ideal.
Exactly.
Intro.
So we really-
This is training wheels.
I made a mistake one time. I bought a sour bottle for some friends, and I was like, "Oh, this is one of my favorite sours. I'll buy it." But I hadn't had it in like a year, and I forgot just how sour it was. It was like, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to drink a sour again. I'm like, oh no, as a beer ambassador, I have fucked up. And I was like, no, they're not all like this. Please try another one. Please, this is my mistake. I love this, but I'm also like years into the game.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so we always try to keep these three-dimensional balance, that sour and that sweetness, and it's like Trent was saying, it's kind of a stepping stone into like your puckering sours, your barrel-aged sours, and we just have limited barrel aging space, and our goal is to eventually get some fooders and scale those up, but it takes a long time to make those beers, and if we could bring them out like these sour kettles, we would, but we just can't. So
you can build your sour palate.
Oh yeah. You can build any
doomed.
palate. I used to have a terrible palate.
Yeah.
And I got a good one. Now it's pretty bad again because again all I taste is melon.
You can train your palate, actually. Stanford came out with a study a few years ago showing that it can be anywhere from like 100 to thousands taste experience, and you can change your palate. Like, we're all born not liking bitterness. Bitterness represents like poison in nature. So unless you keep trying bitter things, you won't necessarily like it. So if you think like, you drink black coffee, super bitter, then that's why you put milk and cream and sugar in it. But then as you drink more and more of it, you want less and less sugar, and eventually you drink it more and more, dark, and same with beer. A lot of times the craft beer drinker starts with an IPA and they're just like, oh, this is way too strong, and it's enticing because it's different than like a light lager, but then it takes time to really wrap your palate around it and really enjoy it. So just keep trying beer. You'll learn to like it.
This is a good transition. Like, lime is like obviously less sour than a lemon. Like, lemon you bite into and pucker, but lime is like still sweet.
Yep.
And good. So yeah, this was a good flavor profile.
And there's a Cadillac margarita that's made with some like orange and stuff. So we brought some orange and some lemon in there, like you said, to round out that acidity.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thanks. We're excited with this one. And the next one's going to be a cranberry raspberry as we get into the holiday season.
Before
Turkey Day?
Yeah. And then December we got a pastry sour coming.
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
blow your
pastry
mind.
sour. Get ready. Tom's already working up some recipes.
Some coconut almond sour.
Ooh, there you go. Amaretto sour.
Whoa.
That's just what goes in everything. And cacao nibs.
Yeah. Speaking of cacao, three best friends. Maybe you make a comeback.
Oh. Yeah,
maybe
I
a comeback.
love that beer.
Yeah,
so that's
one of our
limited
favorites.
16 ounce comeback.
That's cacao, that's coffee, and then what's the third one?
Vanilla
again?
beans.
Vanilla beans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Also, just so you know, because I can't always convince people to drink with me, ages incredibly well.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Just iced coffee beer. It's awesome. That was our goal of that one.
They really tried to brew that one on like a chewy stout, more like your iced coffee, a lot lighter in the mouthfeel, and just really get those aromas of the flavors without really overpowering it. So it's a nice one.
I love that beer. Thanks for reminding me. It is good.
It's been a few years.
Bring it back.
And partly we had it in the wrong package. The bomber, as we all know, crashed.
Yeah, that is true. The 22 does not.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about it.
Nah, it's
just as weak as the rifle.
Yep.
You guys, so I feel like we need to drink a Märzen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Oktoberfest is
agree.
upon us.
Yes.
It'd be a crime if we didn't.
Prost.
Yeah. So, besides your anniversary, what other events do you guys have going on?
So October is going to be a big month. I mean, we have 4 beer releases, 5 counting tomorrow's with UC Davis Arboretum, the Bombas. But next Friday, the 4th, we got the Fest Coast coming.
Nice.
Basically a super Märzen, 6.5%. So slightly higher ABV, malty, caramel. And then we have...
Wait, let's do it all together.
Oh, yeah. Might as well also cheers it up.
Cheers,
it up.
Prost. Yeah, last beer.
Yeah. So, nice and... Just reminds you, it's one of those nostalgia beers. Kind of brings you back to the season every time.
Yeah.
So one of the first beers we brewed here at the brewery too, and really tried to go back to the original recipe. Got all the grains from Europe, from Germany. Once again, they're environment malts for the most part, all floor malts. You get that lighter mouthfeel and get that thick sweetness you get out of using some non-floor malts or North American malts. So we use a variety of German noble hops on it as well to really balance that sweetness. Really try to make this amber real light and drinkable. It's a true Oktoberfest style beer where you're supposed to be drinking steins of it. And you're supposed to be drinking over a long period of time. So really try to bring that out in this beer year round. So
GABF silver medal last year. So
yeah, we're excited.
We entered it again, going for it again. Tom Stoll, our head brewer, actually, when you win with using Wireman malts, and when you win a medal at GBF, they send you red suspenders. Overalls. Yeah, sorry. And so Tom's gonna put them on in the next couple weeks, and maybe we'll go downtown, do a little pub crawl, get ready for the next Great American Beer Fest.
A runway.
Runway.
Keep coming back to this runway.
Yeah.
Some ideas are just too
Look,
good.
some of them, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know why people haven't been doing this.
Yeah.
For
Just-
forever.
I don't know.
I would love a brewery runway where you just wear your fashions.
This one, look,
great.
we could get a little runway, you get a little curtain behind there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many chairs. No, we'd have to do it in the brewery. You could do it
Yeah.
in the brewery.
Especially if you don't know there's a runway about to happen, you're like drunk, like
And you just turn over. Like somebody just lights.
That might even be better, a pop-up runway.
Like,
Oh, man.
Ambi turner only can turn right.
Yeah, like 8 photographers, just flash bulbs.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you gotta have so many photographers. Yeah.
That'd be good.
like wearing old timey hats with like a little card in there, like saying photographer.
One of those real flash old school.
Yeah, old school
Yeah.
flashes, all that stuff. That'd be so fun. That'd
do
be,
you guys have a Christmas beer? Do you do eggnog beer?
No,
We should
eggnog,
do
we
an
do a
eggnog
doppelbock. We should do an eggnog beer though, but we do a doppelbock, it's a double dark lager. It's 8% beer. It's a traditional German Christmas beer, Advent beer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
we
so-
usually do some other dark beers. So
Yep.
we got some more.
Three
stuff
Best
coming out.
Friends. That'll be a nice coffee beer. That's a good one.
Can
so
I
good.
pitch a
Yeah,
a beer?
Let's hear it.
love
Let's hear
ideas.
it.
Okay, so I visited Sweden last year, and they have a version of Coke, right? That's just their own brand, and they drink it as a Christmas drink, right? So maybe you guys should do a Swedish
Yeah, I like it.
Coca-Cola beer
I think we have to get our
Coca-Cola.
hands on some
for the Christmas time, like a
like
cola,
flavored
Yeah.
one.
Christmas cola, yeah.
Christmas
I like it,
cola.
I like it.
That could be cool.
Because
I like
cola's
it.
more like more warm. It's more of a deep, less
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah,
you know,
cola.
Yeah.
A soda.
it's more
Soda.
and you could do a collaboration and just spell cola COLLA,
Koala.
like collaboration.
Collaborate. Oh, you blow my
collab.
mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
cola,
Collab.
cola,
I
cola.
like that.
Koala.
Yeah.
How many
good
beer
one.
names come from the show, you think?
None. I pitch them so hard. And nobody ever makes it. It's fine. I get it.
No bad ideas. No bad
I'm
ideas.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah.
But there are ones where your girlfriend doesn't talk to you for a few days.
Yeah.
It happens.
I do like the Lafay, though.
Yeah. Laughing. I wrote it down. I've even made the C and the L.
Can I
It's
see
the whole
it?
thing.
That was good.
good.
Is that the best name of today? Do you
No.
guys
It's the worst
Cheekies
thing.
And,
you got-
Cheekies is the good,
and
good name.
Cheekies.
Two votes
I
for
still
Cheekies.
remember
Cheekies,
Cheekies.
Yeah, Cheekies
Pokies,
is
good. Remember
Pookies, Cheekies.
Oh,
and-
you didn't even remember Pookies.
Yeah, Pokies,
Okay,
yeah.
so Cheekies.
Well, Pookie's is kind of close to Pokey, too. There's a lot of Pokey spots in
Yeah.
Davis now. People might be
Okay.
like, oh, they come in for Pokey, and it's Pookie. So I don't know.
that would
Yeah.
suck.
You can't misadvertise. That's true.
Google Cheekies and Pookies, though, and see what comes up. That's another thing.
Test it out on people too to understand, see what people like respond with. You know, because one thing we realize, we'll come up with names and then we'll put it out and someone will look at it and like they'll like read it and they'll like can't pronounce it. They're like, well, blah, 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 and they're like, I don't understand this. And then you're like, all right, if that's on a board like being ordered, like no one's gonna order because no one wants to not know how to say
Because
the
then
beer.
yeah, they're under pressure. They got to order. There's people in
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
or they get embarrassed. They don't want to ask.
And likewise, you know, you don't want someone being like, hey, let's go to Pookie's, and they're going like, what? You know, like like what's that? So think of a name that people are like, you know, confident in saying. You know.
Which is part of the reason the phenomenon of the IPA, again, bar call, confident. Anyone can say it,
Yeah.
even though
And
some
it's
people call it an
intriguing.
IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take your IPA. Oh. It sounds like a grandpa.
IPA.
Like, hey, IPA.
Yeah. And names are so important.
They are.
They really are. Like when I did an episode with Drake's, they had this thing. They just put out the Foraging Raccoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not drink a beer called Foraging Raccoon?
Yeah, that sounds
it's
cool.
good.
Yeah. It's pretty
Like,
good.
You
It's
need
pretty
to,
good.
but they
Well,
had a
it's like-
previous name for it that had not sold at all. Like this went from our worst selling beer
Yeah.
to our second best selling beer just by changing the name.
Great.
Of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Rubicon monkey knife fight phenomenon.
Yeah, you
which
have
helped
to
keep
drink
them
it.
in business for a lot longer, maybe than otherwise.
Yeah.
But they had a beer called Monkey Knife Fight, and all of a sudden exploded. You know.
Yeah. God, I remember the first time I went there, it was stout, amber,
Yeah.
whatever, monkey knife fight. I'm like, well, I guess you got to order the monkey knife fight.
Yeah.
Why would you not order that?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I want
Which
to know
was
what that is.
very brilliant marketing.
Yeah,
and then
it
they went
was.
away from it by naming every other beer with different names. But if they just stuck to the style name and then monkey knife fight, they'd be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. And I think like on a national scale, one of the best brands that like went a lot farther than maybe it would otherwise would have. It's good beer too, but is Fresh Squeezed.
Yeah.
I just think that was ahead of the whole hazy, juicy. They just fresh squeeze like 10 years ago. I remember hearing the
Not even. It was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, like maybe early like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the best selling beers in America. Fresh squeezed. It's just like it just sounds appealing. And now they have the little squeeze or something, which is like
Hazy squeeze,
gluten.
little squeeze.
Oh yeah, they got the gluten. They got
That
so
one's
many
pretty good.
varietals.
The little squeeze.
Yeah, it is. It's maybe 4 or 5 years ago that Fresh Squeeze came out. But as far as beer is concerned, that's the Mesozoic era.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
So let's not say that. It's possible I'm wrong on what era it would technically
you're right.
be
It's a
tied
different
to.
era. But now, people talk about generations. Like
It's like a 2-year
generations
window.
happen within 5 years now, 2 to 5 years. Like
Yeah.
my brother's like 5 years younger. He's from a different generation.
Oh.
You're from a different generation than he
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
I'm from a
The
different.
fact that we've had a conversation is nearly impossible.
That's what beer does. It brings people
Yeah,
together.
that's it. Beer,
Yeah, we always say
the
this
great
is the
connector.
original Facebook. We're like, bringing people back together instead of like going online to communicate.
Can't drink beer through the internet.
Yeah.
From
Yes.
beers to
Yes.
peers.
There you go. Beers
Oh,
to beers. I like
shit.
that. Bam. I like it.
I'm a marketing major,
Put it
you
on the
guys.
wall.
That's $1 million
All right.
You should be
idea.
educating us.
Yeah.
That's great. Did you just say that right now for the first time ever?
Yes.
That's great.
Good one.
Just thought of it.
That's wonderful.
Love it. I love
I
it.
also thought of Sudwerk. Come on.
I like it.
That
so
was good. That was quick.
That's a good one.
So what's your tagline? If it's Cheekies, what's going to be?
Oh, I just thought of that yesterday.
Oh.
It's been Pookie's place this whole time. Like I created the menu with like Pookie's potion, Pookie's
Ooh,
like
there you
whatever.
go.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I'm like Cheekies feels more like me. Like Pookie is my old roommate's dog.
I gotcha.
So it's like kind of a
Your
memory
logo
of
would
mine.
be the dog.
Yeah.
The logo.
I get,
Yeah.
right? It'd be cute, but it's like it doesn't give me motivation
Yeah.
to be like, oh, let me paint my old roommate's
and here-
dog. You know?
Yeah.
Here's the nice thing about cheekies also is that it's a term that's more British.
Yep.
Which is very in line with comedy, like
Yeah.
the weird off-kilter British comedy. And you can always have like a special drink called the Cheeky Bastard, which is very important.
Yeah. Very important.
So
Yeah, I like it. And you can think about if you have a logo too, because I like logos that have like a subtle, like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like the Amazon, like A to Z, and the arrow go, and it's also like looks like a smile. But Cheekies, you think about dimples or something you could like work into a logo.
yeah,
That's true.
and even the FedEx logo is secretly
Yeah.
sneaky
Yeah,
because it's
the
got
arrow.
the arrow.
I just saw that because I saw on the John Oliver show, and he was talking, and I never saw that
You
arrow
never saw
until
it, but
he
it was
said
there the whole
Now
time,
you-
and
once
your
you see
brain
the arrow,
knows
you
it's
can't
there, but
unsee
you
it.
don't know it's there.
Maybe
Yeah.
I could make the 2 E's look like a butt or something.
there you
like
go.
Cheekies.
Yeah, Cheekies.
Right?
Yeah.
Even better. Even
Yeah.
better. And
Yeah,
he
if
has
you can get a
specials
button
on
there.
full moon.
Yes!
Full moon
Marketing
specials. There you
genius.
go. I love
And
it.
of course, you got your cheeky monkey, so
Yeah.
you got to throw in like a monkey somewhere
my
in the
God.
design.
Cheeky, you can have. There's all these.
There's all
Streaker
kinds of
special.
Yeah.
all these avenues you can take with Cheeky. So
It feels more authentic too because my improv team is cherry pie. So as I started writing Cheekies, it was already CHE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's me. That
There you
feels
go.
good.
Cheekies.
Part of it.
A
I
regular
like it.
Che Guevara over here.
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
Shea Cafe.
Yeah.
Shea Cafe.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the last.
I couldn't picture your hair under there. I'm
Oh, there it
surprised.
is.
So Trent's been wearing a hat the whole time. Now he doesn't have a hat. Okay.
Yeah. It just.
Wait, now you gotta reveal.
My hat.
Oh
Womp
boy.
womp.
Not too excited. Trent has a lush head of hair.
I got
Mine's transitioning from my head to my face. So.
I got strong.
Trent, can I have your hat for a second? This
Yeah.
is what I look like with a hat.
Oh, okay, yeah, we need to see
I
that.
hate it.
You look good.
no.
You look
You're a different guy. I don't recognize.
Yeah, you
It's
do look
very-
different. You look
Round.
Hey,
different.
what'd you
I
do with
don't-
Ben? Where's Ben?
I don't like hats. Take it back.
You look like a
You gotta get
different
head of
guy.
hair though.
Yeah, I don't
Like
like
I wouldn't
hats.
recognize you.
No, I
with a
hate
hat.
them. I hate them. I give it every time I get a hat, I give it away.
Yeah.
Not ideal. This was great for the podcast. Everybody got to see us with hats, no hats.
And without hats.
Totally a cool thing. We can give
Faces
you
for radio. Right?
Befores and afters.
Yeah.
We have to leave. You guys have lives to live. You have wives to get back to. A whole thing. So, all right. So we got the fest coming up, the 30th
Yeah.
anniversary on the 26th
Yep.
of
Yep.
October.
Yep.
Here at Sudwerk Brewing in Davis, California, on
That's right.
2nd Street.
That's right.
Davis's original craft brewery,
Yes, absolutely. And Sacramento's oldest craft brewery.
Sacramento region, because you're in Yolo County. You're not even in the right county.
Yep.
You're right. The region.
You claim it.
Region's oldest brewery. Other than that, We've got, what else you got?
We have 5 releases in the next 5 weeks, including Sudwerk's first ever canned IPA. Yeah, we're doing it.
What?
Yeah, the first ever canned IPA for our 30th anniversary called Small Town Hustle.
Here's the thing. Is it West Coast? Is it hazy? Is it brute? Is it double?
We're going hazy.
Going hazy.
Going hazy.
Yep, giving people what they want.
Going
That's
hazy.
people's hazy.
People's hazy.
Yeah, we've been that experimental IPA has been experimenting for years, so it's time for it to be showcased.
Yeah, so anniversary on October 26th, huge community celebration at the brewery, and then also 5 new releases in the next 5 weeks, all canned.
All canned. Is it release day Saturday?
We're going to release Small Town Hustle and potentially one other release on that anniversary date.
Okay.
All
Every
canned.
Friday.
Every Friday.
Yeah. Every
Brian
Friday.
gets it. Brian does it.
Yeah, Ryan, you guys are on the same wavelength.
Every
Over
Friday.
here on an island, I'm talking to myself this whole
Of course, Ryan would know it's Friday.
Yeah.
His last name's Fry. Okay. It's been a long time since we said that last part, so it's important to tie it back in.
Every Friday, and then going after that, each month we'll have a couple releases as well. So we'll keep it going until the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys crank out really great beers.
We're doing it. 30 beers this year for 30th anniversary. We went for
cool.
it. 30 for
That's
30.
cool.
Yep.
Whoa.
Go big or go home.
It's the only
Know
way.
it.
It's the only way.
We're having fun. We're having fun.
Can you say the date again of the 30th anniversary?
October 26th, Saturday.
26th.
Yep.
All day. 12 to 9:30.
Get your dregs the 27th.
Dregs?
Yeah, the next
Your
day.
dregs the last of it.
Yeah, that's right. That's
After
right.
party.
Runoff.
That's
After
right.
party on the 27th.
Runoff Runway. Here's a show idea.
Oh.
27th. Secondary.
Man.
Secondary market. Hit it.
Why aren't we a marketing team?
Yeah.
Because my ideas are bad. I love them so much.
Well,
Everything's
we'll
my
entertain
baby.
them into fruition is the thing.
And then where can people find you guys online if they want to learn more about Sudwerk's history and its future and where it's going?
Sudwerkbrew.com or our Facebook and Instagram, which we update every day.
Sudwerk Brew.
At Sudwerk Brew.
At Sudwerk Brew. Sudwerk. That's
No
for the
S.
listeners. I know.
That's right. That's
BREW.
No, one S on the front, no S on the back.
Correct.
That's right.
Perfect. Singular.
Yep.
A singular entity, a
Singularity.
singular
Yeah.
person, a singular brewery within the beer world.
Nailed
Nothing like them. Sudwerk. Singular.
it. Nailed it. And then
our
the
radio
tap
ad.
room's open Tuesday through Sunday, so we always got our beers. You can have to release them always around in cans in the fridge or on tap, and from usually 4 to 8 or so on the weekends. We open a little bit earlier on too, so come on by anytime then, and we'd love to show you around, try some beers with you.
And Bex Nava, if people wanted to get involved in your comedy club, Cafe Dream, how can they do that?
Help me think of a name.
So for name ideas, you email bexnames@gmail.com.
No, just I'm just planning events for the community right now, so maybe just keep an eye out. I work with the Davis Council. I'm part of their little marketing crew, so you'll see them like events of mine probably in the Davis little schedules and stuff like that. The Enterprise will probably say something.
Great.
Awesome.
So just look out for big things coming.
Nice.
From Cheekies.
Or other name pending. But if people want to get involved, they want to know how to help you out any way they can, if it's building, if it's financing, if it's giving you some sort of leg up advice, how can they reach you?
Just find me on Facebook. Bex Nava is me. Yeah. I'm really just happy that I'm in a community with supportive business owners that are local and believe in my dreams. So
Spoken like a true marketing major.
That's right. That's right.
We're happy you're here, and we're fired up for you.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, I feel like I've gotten so much more support than I've even expected with how little I have planned that to ask for more help feels weird even, it's like I'm already so grateful and I feel like I just need to keep working,
Awesome.
Now, besides Facebook, is there other places people can reach you if they needed to help you out?
My phone number is
No. We're not doing that because I don't know who listens to this. We can't trust everybody. This is America.
867-5309.
867. It's fine if you don't. It's totally.
No, I don't have a website or anything like
What
that.
about your Instagrams? You're 20.
I do have an Instagram.
You have to have one.
I do. I don't want
It's
to
a private
say
account.
it.
Okay. I'll cut this.
Facebook,
Nobody
okay.
knows.
Bex Nava.
Well, it's just a funny name. It's DJ Name Generator.
Nice.
All right.
It's a joke because a lot of artists get their names from name generators
yeah,
websites.
totally.
Yeah. Trust me, I get it. As a college student, you need to have a DJ name. I get it. Did you guys have DJ names when you were in college? Did you guys like dream of being DJs and you came up with a name for yourself?
No, I was
DJ Suds.
DJ Sudwerk.
Sudwerk. Nice.
Yes. That was it.
like it.
I'm not gonna lie.
I went to college for this.
my DJ name. I was a music major, and it is between me and my friend Brady, who made the theme music for this show. It was a DJ Bastard Ho.
That's a good one.
BASTID.
Bastard.
Bastard
Ho.
Ho.
Bastard hoe.
And just so we are clear, this was 2002. I did mashups before anybody else.
Nice.
I had all my music was
Pioneer.
mashups. MP3.com. If it still exists, and if my page still exists, one track is available. I
Download it tonight.
I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I somehow made a rap song sound slow. It turns out if you do certain things with like undercarrying like beats, you can make a song that's super fast sound super slow just by slowing down the drum beat on another track. Because I used a rap group and then I put Ben Folds 5 underneath it. And it's just like the slowest, like sludging through their rap, like climbing through Maple. But I didn't slow down the record at all. It's the exact speed they're rapping, but because like the music behind it is so slow, it sounds like the slowest rap
That's crazy.
you've ever heard. And I'm like,
Slow-mo
I'm a
dancing.
genius.
Well, we are looking for a DJ for our 30th anniversary.
No.
so-
This was 20 years ago. We don't. No.
So if you're a DJ and you want to get a hold of Sudwerk, how do you get
Info at
into
sudwerkbrew.com.
sick?
Yeah,
And you're like, hey, I'm a
anyone.
DJ.
All right, and then if you guys for some reason want to follow Barley and me or whatever, at Barley and Me Pod across social media. You can email questions, comments, concerns, guest ideas, brewery ideas to barleymepodcast@gmail.com. But I recently got barleymepod@gmail.com also, so
Nice
either
work.
one works.
Nice.
Still no website. Still, I'm writing it down on my notebook. Still no website.
Wix.com can help you. Follow Wix.com at
Wix.
Instagram. And
And somebody at this table may have told me you need to change the name of your podcast because there's a website already designed, and I got confused.
I also badgered you about your name, I
Yeah.
think.
Now, and when I heard that, I was like, I hear you, I respect you. You're wrong. Because here's the thing: when you Google Barley and Me, that website doesn't show up for like 3 pages because my podcast is dominating the airwaves.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not. It just means that website's doing so poorly compared to my nobody cares about podcast.
We got to get you wear the bear suit. Our mascot is called Barley.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you do a podcast in the bear suit?
BarleyMe.com is a guy and his dog
Next
named
podcast,
Barley.
one of us will wear the bear suit during the podcast. Okay.
Can I be a bicycle?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You do whatever you want, man.
Perfect. I'm down. I'm very available for embarrassment.
the icon
Perfect,
is you,
perfect.
the bear riding you as a bike.
Yeah. The best part about the bear suit's never been washed.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the best
Seasoned.
part. It's a part of living
Seasoned.
history.
that's great.
You want to leave your mark on it, you can wear it.
I'm going to leave so many marks on it. Inside, outside, USA.
Ben all the way.
Anyway, guys, this has been too much. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
It's been episode 110 of Bar. Oh, please.
Whoa,
continue.
110.
110.
Impressive.
We're excited to be a
Get
part
you
of
back
it.
for the 110th anniversary, okay?
At some point, somebody's going to tell me no. So many times I don't ever do this ever again. But people keep saying yes, like fools.
Love it.
All right, so this has been episode 110 with Ryan Fry of Sudwerk, with Trent Yaczan of Sudwerk, and Bex Nava.
I really need to pee now.
Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.
Get home safe.
Cheers.
Cheers.